last 3 visits to South Bend, but overall in the series, Notre Dame has a very big edge. 32 wins for the Fighting Irish, 14-1. And Notre Dame here at South Bend is 13-7 against the Panthers. John Carney, with a strong leg, will kick it off. He's from West Palm Beach, Florida, for the Irish. He's a senior at 5'10", 170, and he'll be kicking it from the 35-yard line on our left. He's got the ball on the tee directly in the middle of the field. He is a right-footed soccer-style kicker. The Panthers have Michael Hadley deep to receive, flanked by Chuck Scales to his right. And here comes Carney's kickoff, and it's a long boot, angling to the right side of the defense for Notre Dame, taken by Hadley out to the 10 and hit hard at the 12-yard line on a fine tackle by Ned Bolkar, a linebacker who came down and just threw a little low tackle on Hadley and just wheeled him over in a somerset at the 12-yard line.
Hadley ran right into him. I think Hadley was a little uptight on that. He didn't know which way to go, so he ran right into that big halt.
1st and 10, the Panthers at their own 12-yard line. Bukowska, Stepnoski, Sign, Dixon, and Chris Getz starts this football game in place of Tom Ricketts. Back split wide behind Kingemi. Fullback Tom Brown in motion out to the wide side to the right. Long count by Kingemi. Now he sends another man in motion after the set is taken by Brown, and there seems to be confusion right at the top of the game, but there are no flags. Yes, there is a flag as the pass is taken by Tom Brown on the far side of the field, and that will be for illegal motion against the Panthers. 2 players moving at once. Pitt with confusion right at the top. Brandy Wells made the instant stop on Tom Brown, but the gain, however slight, will be nullified.
They were trying a new set.
Illegal shift.
Yeah, they were trying a new set. When they did, the second motion man started before the other stopped, and it didn't work out. So Pitt is already, that's why you kick off.
Tom Brown initially went in motion, and then before he was able to take a set position on the far side of the field as a flanker, the other motion began, and at the snap we had 2 people moving, and that certainly, unless you're playing Canadian football, is illegal.
That's right. Brown was not to be in motion on that play. John went right out and talked to him.
Panthers penalized 5 yards back to the 7, where it will be 1st down and 15. Penalty against Pitt. Illegal shift. We're just underway. Pitt with its opening possession, and the Panthers starting back in a hole at their own 12 and now back to their own 7 following the penalty. We've had 13 seconds elapse in this football game, and now they give the signal ready for play, and the clock begins to move. Michael Stewart will be the split end left. Chuck Scales, flanker right. Billy Osborne in a wide slot right, and so is Tom Brown out there as a double slot right. Now Brown seems to be in motion, and he is, and the give is to Ironhead Hayward. Bounces it out to the left side, low center of gravity, and gets 4 of the 5 yards back out to the 11-yard line. Dave Butler, senior defensive end, made the tackle. Good job by Ironhead of keeping his balance. Otherwise, he's tackled for a loss or right at the line of scrimmage.
The Notre Dame defense has changed. They're not in the 50 vanilla. They've slid over and now they're in a 4-man line. And I don't know if it's going to cause a problem, but it's a new wrinkle right now. They were in a 4 for the last 2, and they're jumped back in it again.
2nd and 11 at the 11-yard line. Pitt in its own territory, just underway. Tom Brown, the fullback, in motion to the right to overload the right side. Kingemi back, throwing near sideline. Too tall and incomplete for Michael Stewart. Coverage on the play by cornerback Marv Spence. And Kingemi really didn't have enough time to deliver a well-thrown football. He was pressured into throwing the ball high.
That's right. What Notre Dame is doing now, they're shifting their 5-man line over, and it makes it look like 4 down linemen with 1 end in an up position. So they're getting a 5-man rush, but they're covering the guards with 2 people rather than just the center with 1 person.
3rd down, 11. Pitt at its own 11-yard line. Double receivers to both sides. Single setback is Brown behind Kingemi on 3rd and 11. Tinsley in motion to the right, the wide side. Kingemi takes and is back. Plants, fires a pass over the middle, complete. Then the Panthers have a 1st down at the 30-yard line. Billy Osborne taking that pass out to the 30-yard line with a fine catch. Tackled immediately by Steve Lawrence, the free safety. But a big play on 3rd and 11. The Panthers get 19.
Again, Notre Dame slid the odd defense over to make it look like a 4. But when they do that, they only have 2 linebackers instead of the 3. Consequently, they're able to throw the ball without underneath coverage.
The slot man, Billy Osborne, cutting across the middle, pulled in that Kingemi pass right on the money. 19 yards and a Panther 1st down at the 30. Now the wide side is to the left. The turn and the give. to Ironhead Hayward, and he turns it upfield with a good job, hurdling tacklers and getting out across the 35 for a first down to the 40 to the 42-yard line. A 12-yard gain by Craig Hayward in heavy traffic to the short side.
Right, that was your bounce out. And this time, Notre Dame went into their odd defense and slid over one man on the weak side. So that means they're sliding their defense toward the tight end. Notre Dame is sliding the defense.
Ball at the 41-yard line, a gain of 11 yards for Craig Hayward, and a first and 10. Craig Hayward with a good run to the short side, took advantage of whatever blocking there was, and came in there with a good run for the Panthers. First and 10, Pitt at its own 41-yard line. Kajemi back, throwing a pass for the near side of the field, was deflected and incomplete for Michael Stewart. Now he's throwing a pass across to the near sideline in front of the Notre Dame bench that traveled approximately 35 yards, and he just didn't have a chance, as I believe at the line of scrimmage. The ball was deflected slightly by a Notre Dame rushing lineman.
Notre Dame had a fine rush from their right side, and John could not see his receiver, tried to duck under and throw the ball, and there's no way when the hands are up.
Following that incomplete pass, the Panthers face a second down and 10 at their own 41-yard line. Charles Gladman is into the game now, and he goes in motion and sets up as a tailback in the I formation, and he gets the play action fake. Back is Kajemi throwing a pass over the middle, complete to Chuck Scales. He's got a first down in Notre Dame territory at the 44-yard line. Chuck Scales running a middle route, came all across the middle and beat Troy Wilson, the cornerback. Wilson tackled him as soon as he got the football, but the gain is from the Pitt 41 to the Notre Dame 44-yard line. They called it a 15-yard gain to Chuck Scales.
Pitt put Gladman in the game for a decoy on the last play, Bill, and it worked.
First and 10, the Panthers at the Notre Dame 44. No score, just underway. Pitt on its opening possession, which started at the 12. And a draw handoff to Ironhead Hayward. The ball is loose, and Notre Dame recovers the fumble at the Notre Dame 44-yard line. Ironhead Hayward on the draw play had the ball stripped, and Cedric Figueroa, a defensive end, a junior from Lafayette, Louisiana, falls on the football for Notre Dame at the ND 43.
Pitt had a hole on the play, but the defensive tackle of Notre Dame made a great move, dove and grabbed the arm of Ironhead and pulled the ball loose. It was a fine defensive play by Notre Dame.
Dave Butler stripped the football. Figueroa fell on it at the 43, and Notre Dame now with a first and 10 at their own 43. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back.
How exciting is the all-new
The first quarter, Bill Hillgrove and Tony Mason here at Notre Dame, Indiana. 12:29 remaining first quarter. Notre Dame has just recovered a Panther fumble at their own 43-yard line, and they begin their first series of downs in a scoreless football game.
I feel that's what Lou Holtz was thinking when he kicked the ball off. Pitt has had a terrible tendency to drop the football in the first series of downs. They did it again, but fortunately, they acquired about 3 first downs and got it into good field position.
On that draw handoff, I'm not sure that Hayward ever had a really good handle on it, but credit the Notre Dame defensive end. Steve Butler just reached in there and stripped the ball away, and Figueroa fell on it. Notre Dame had 2 players diving for it, so they've got the easy first down at their own 43-yard line. Scoreless game. Notre Dame with their first possession. And they line up in an I formation. Flanker right, split end left is Jackson. Flanker right is Timmy Brown. And he goes in motion to the left side through the formation. Andrzak on a keeper, on the quarterback keeper straight ahead. Just took the snap, read that the linebacker wasn't there, and just roared straight ahead across the 45 out to the 48-yard line for about 5 yards, where he's tackled by Walter Johnson.
That play by Notre Dame was designed to run at Olszewski to make him stay at home. They want him to know that they could do that anytime, so Notre Dame ran right at him with a Q sneak.
Twins left is a formation for Notre Dame out of the I. Andrzak 2nd and 5 at his own 48. Pitch back to the right side, and the Mark Green, the tailback, is hammered as he gets to the line of scrimmage. He gets a yard. That's all. 3rd down and 4. Fine tackle by Jerry Olszewski, who came across the line of scrimmage and made the play at the Notre Dame 44-yard line. 3rd down and 4.
Pitt's using their basic 4-man line. They haven't stunted yet. They're just flowing to the football and did a fine job the last play against Notre Dame's sweep.
Joe Williams in as a tight end on 3rd and 4 at the Notre Dame 49. Andy Heck had played on the previous down. 3rd and 4, Notre Dame, and an audible by Andrzak. The quarterback option, and he's hit by Walter Johnson. No gain, and Notre Dame's punt team will have to come on the field. Walter Johnson, great penetration from his defensive tackle spot, and as Andrzak tried to launch that option to the short side, the right side, he was tackled immediately for no gain. And now it's 4th down, and Notre Dame's punt team is quickly on the field, trying to get the Panthers before they can get that 10-man rush up front. Panthers have 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Sorensen is back, awaiting the snap by John Grieb, and he gets it and punts it away, and it's a beautiful high spiraling kick. Bearcat signaled for it to 10-yard line by Billy Osborne and taken at the 10, and the Panthers will have it 1st and 10. Scoreless game so far. Pitt starting its second possession. 10:48 left of the first quarter of play. A 41-yard punt by Sorensen, the Notre Dame punter.
That was I think the people ought to know that Pitt right now on their defensive scheme, every time Notre Dame comes over the ball, they're jumping linemen a half a man. We call it stemming. They're stemming to confuse the defense, the offensive scheme of Notre Dame, and it worked the last play beautifully. In other words, they're lining up in one position, jumping to another, and stunning back to another position to arouse and confuse the Notre Dame offensive front.
10 minutes, 48 seconds left of the first quarter of play. Pitt now starting its second possession after the fair catch by Billy Osborne at his own 10-yard line. And the ball is on the left hash mark as Pitt operates first quarter in a scoreless game, right to left. There's a plane flying overhead that says South Bend loves Anthony Johnson.
Who's that?
I don't know. We're going to have to try to find out.
We better.
That wasn't the Gipper, was it?
No, he had another name.
George Gipp had.
That's right.
Yeah. We'll have to find out who Anthony Johnson is. We'll have some delays from time to time because of the television of today's game.
Field position still laying in favor of Notre Dame, although they picked up 5 yards on the exchange of downs and kicks.
Anthony Johnson, we were told, is a freshman tailback for Notre Dame, but we haven't seen him in there as yet.
With a rich father.
Probably. Or, well, I won't say it, but somebody who likes Anthony Johnson. He's not on the depth chart. 1st and 10 from the 10. Kajemi back throwing a tall pass on the far sideline, almost intercepted over the head of the intended receiver, Billy Osborne, and Troy Wilson diving for it. Came up about a yard short. And so the Panthers now will face a 2nd down and 10 after the incomplete pass. Kajemi for Osborne.
Kajemi seems to be having problem throwing the ball to his flanks because of the height of the Notre Dame defensive ends. He had to put too much air under that, and it was almost picked off. You're right.
Keith Tinsley out of the ball game now for Pitt. Michael Stewart lines up as a split end left. Osborne is in the slot right, and outside him is Chuck Scales. Panthers with their back split wide. Send Brown in motion, 2nd and 10 from their own 10. Kajemi straight back. Throws a pass far side of the field. Too tall for Tommy Brown. And incomplete. Tom Brown, the fullback, in motion, was out there as a receiver, but Kajemi again threw the ball too tall. That time he didn't face any pressure. It just ended up too high for Brown to try to possibly go up and pull down again.
It was not a good pass, and Brown could not reach it. There was no pressure at all on John that time.
Took a short drop back to about the 5-yard line and let it fly, and it wasn't even close. So let's see what he does now on 3rd and 10 from his own 10. Notre Dame in a 4-man front. Panthers with a single setback, 3 wideouts to the right side, the wide side, and now Osborne comes in motion, reverse motion to overload the right side. Kajemi straight back on 3rd and 10. Firing a pass near sideline, and it is incomplete. Intended receiver was Michael Stewart, but he was bumped immediately by Marv Spence and couldn't hold on. And so the Panthers will have to punt from deep in their own end, the line of scrimmage, the Pitt 10-yard line, in a scoreless game.
It wasn't a bad play by John. It was a great play by Spence of Notre Dame.
Notre Dame now with 7 men near the line of scrimmage, and Rask will be relatively unbothered as he kicks a low kick out of there, and letting it bounce at the 45-yard line is Milt Jackson, and he picks it up on the 1 bounce and gets it into the Pitt 45-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds on the near side of the field. So Notre Dame now, excellent field position, will have a 1st and 10 at the Pitt 45. They'll start the drive in Pitt territory. Now they spot the football at the 44-yard line. Notre Dame's first visit to Pitt territory this afternoon, their second possession. No score. That punt of rest traveled 40 yards and returned 6 yards by the punt return man, Milt Jackson. Notre Dame 1st and 10 at the Pitt 44-yard line. Andrzak takes and gives to his deep back. Mark Green through a hole. Gets through the initial surge and gets down to the 40 to the 39-yard line for 5 yards. Mark Green, a sophomore from Riverside, California, came in averaging 10.4 yards per reception and 3.7 yards per carry.
Notre Dame just cranked that one up, Bill.
They like to use Green as a wide receiver. And they move him around, and not as a wide receiver, but as a pass receiver, and he'll catch a lot of balls out of the backfield. Left guard Tom Freeman out of there with an injured shoulder. Tom McHugh is on for Notre Dame. Notre Dame facing a 2nd and 5 at the Pitt 39-yard line. In motion is Timmy Brown to the wide side. The give against the motion is to Green, and Green is through there for a good haul across the 35 for the first down to the 32-yard line. And again, basically, it looked like the same play as the previous.
They're obviously, their game plan starting to show. They're using a basic split formation, straight eye backfield, handing the ball off to the tailback, following the fullback over the middle, and running off the block of the right guard.
Green picked up 5 and now 7 yards, and it's a first down and 10. Notre Dame at the Pitt 32. Andrzak out of the eye, receivers to both sides. Long count. Turns and gives to his fullback, and his fullback is Taylor, Pernell Taylor, straight ahead for a couple of yards to about the 29-yard line. He'll pick up 3 and set up a 2nd down and 7. Again, Notre Dame seems to be opening the cracks just enough for the running backs to get through.
The offensive line of Notre Dame has taken pretty good line splits. Pitt's going to have to make an adjustment into the seams on this wide side or the tight end side of the football.
They call it a 4-yard gain, and they're calling it the 29-yard line. 2nd down, we'll call it 6. For Notre Dame in Pitt territory, scoreless game so far. Receivers to both sides. Option left by Andrzak, and he cuts through there keeping, and he's hit hard as he gets to the 26-yard line and driven back. He'll have forward progress to about the 25-yard line, and that will be for about 4 yards, setting up a 3rd down. We'll call it 2.
That was an interesting
And
play.
we have an injured Panther down and getting up very slowly. And we'll just have to wait to see. Is that Bert Grossman or Anthony Siragusa? It is Bert Grossman who is down and getting up slowly. And finally gets on his feet and is being attended to by trainer Rex Call. He'll leave the game. And so at defensive end, the Panthers are forced by an injury to Bert Grossman. He seems to be okay as he goes off the field. We'll look for him to be back shortly. And let's see who takes his spot. John Carter comes on to take his spot at defensive end. Notre Dame now with a 3rd down, and we'll call it 2 at the 25-yard line. They've got to get to the 23-yard line just beyond in order to get a first down.
3rd and 3.
It's a long 2 is what we're trying to say. Wishbone backfield, a full house. Andrzak steps under center on 3rd and 2. And the wishbone give is to the fullback Taylor. He fights his way, but he'll be short of the first down as the Panther defense, especially in that center with Walter Johnson and Anthony Siragusa, unbending, unyielding. And Notre Dame now has the field goal team on.
Notre Dame is definitely going to attack the center of the defensive football team of Pitt.
They give Johnson credit for the tackle, but Siragusa was there, so Kearney will come on for the field goal try. Dan Sorensen will hold, and this is a 42-yarder. Fairly straight down the middle, slight angle right to left. Snap is on the tee. Kearney's kick is going to be wide left, and he kicks it and hooks it wide left, no good. The 42-yard field goal does not connect, and we still have a scoreless ball game. 7:43 left first quarter. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back.
Talk Show is right here Sunday through Friday on Radio 1250 WTAE with Ed Till.
John Kearney, the Notre Dame place kicker, misses a field goal wide left of 43 yards, and so the Panthers take over at the line of scrimmage, which is the Pitt 24 with a 1st and 10. Kearney on the season now 5 for 9. And he didn't really come close on that one. It was just dead wide left.
No, he didn't have any pressure. He just pulled the football. And they're still in that so-called mental block where Holtz has been concerned about his football team not being able to score when they get into the shadows of their own goalpost, and it happened again. They were in good field position, but were stopped on a short yardage situation. Right now, Notre Dame's plan seems to be to attack the middle of the field and attack the middle of the defense, which means eventually they'll go to the wishbone and try to option the ball wide once they get Pitt playing to the inside.
4 times this year, Notre Dame has gotten inside the 30-yard line of the opposition and come up with 0 points. And that hurts. Now the Panthers with a single setback, double wing, double wideout. Osborne in motion to the left side. Pitt 1st and 10 from their own 24. Kajemi back and throwing. Pass is bobbled and dropped. It would have been a first down gain to the 37, but Chuck Scales couldn't hold on. Troy Wilson coverage on the play. Scales simply did not hold on. It's 2nd down and 10. As we pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Panthers Football Network.
Westinghouse, 120,000 employees around the world, dedicated to quality and excellence. 1250 WTAE, Pittsburgh.
John Kajemi, 2 of 7 passing unofficially so far in the game, faces a 2nd down and 10 from his own 24. We are scoreless, 7:38 left first quarter. Pitt with a 2nd and 10 from their own 24, and again Osborne, reverse motion this time to overload the right side. And the give is to Hayward. Hayward in heavy traffic, can't go anywhere. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that is all. Notre Dame that time had good defensive surge and had all the lanes filled. Mike Griffin, the nose guard, sealed one of the lanes. Linebacker Ron Wiesenhofer plugged the other. Ironhead had nowhere to go for no gain. It's 3rd down and 10.
The Notre Dame defensive front overwhelmed the offensive line of Pitt on that particular play. I look for Pitt now to throw the ball quickly to the outside of the formation.
Ironhead goes to the sidelines along with Keith Tinsley. Scales, slot left. And a flanker to the right, actually a double wing set this time, and Osborne goes in motion to the left side. Kajemi with a single set back behind him is back. Looking. Still has time, firing over the middle, wide open, complete to Charles Gladman. First down out to the 40 to the 44-yard line. Charles Gladman picks up 20 yards. Coming up as a receiver from the wide slot formation. And I'll tell you what, Kajemi did a great job of reading off other people who were covered and coming back to Gladman, who was open.
Kajemi actually had 2 men open for Pitt. The man to the top of the field, the split end, who was all alone after the formation shift, was wide open. So they're going to throw that man. They're isolating one-on-one.
Pitt 1st and 10 at its own 44. Ironhead Hayward lines up as a wideout to the right side now, and again single setback for John Kajemi. At his own 44 in a scoreless game, he's going to keep on a busted play and turn it upfield and get about 5 yards. Diving across the 50-yard line, John Kajemi pinned down by nose guard Mike Griffin, but that obviously was a busted play. Handoff was missed. Kajemi with a good decision says, well, I got to go with the flow. The blocking set up that way. Let me see how much I can pick up.
He did. I think he missed a handoff to Tom Brown on the play. And Notre Dame flowed well now. They're flowing to the ball. Pitt's going to have to come back with a counter or the bounce out play that we talk about so much in order to keep those defensive linemen from pinching.
On a busted play, Kajemi picks up 6 yards to the 50-yard line where it's 2nd down and 4. No score, first quarter. Osborne in motion for pitch. Stunting is Notre Dame. And the give is to Ironhead Hayward, and he's through a hole for a couple of yards, about a yard short of first down yardage. He got through there, much to his credit. Matter of fact, he got through where the blitz seemed to be coming from.
Right at the blitz. Now, that means they had a good book on Pitt. When Notre Dame stunted, they stunted right into the hole that Pitt has been using for short yardage situations and stopped it somewhat, but Ironhead's thrust was able to take him up to just about a foot or two short of the first down.
Call it a 3-yard gain for Hayward to the 47-yard line of Notre Dame. 3rd down and 1 for the Panthers. Scoreless game, first quarter. Clock winds at 5:15. 3 fullbacks in for Pitt. Kajemi doesn't like the alignment, and I think he was more concerned with the way Notre Dame had lined up defensively, so he calls a timeout to preserve the situation with a 3rd down and 1. No score first quarter. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
Here's Ronnie Millsap for Busch Beer.
It's that time of day when you can say, head for the mountains, the taste is smooth, and it's waiting for you. Don't you know you should head for the mountains, head for the mountains, head for the mountains, head for Busch Beer.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
WTAE Radio covers all the sports mornings and afternoons with me, Guy Junker.
John Kajemi forced to call a timeout. Scoreless game, 5:11 first quarter. Pitt facing a 3rd and 1 at the 47. What did John Kajemi see that he did not like?
I think our formation, Pitt's formation, was not correctly aligned. The fullback to the right side had too much width, and I think that John realized he couldn't make the handoff to that man, called time rather than waste this short yardage situation.
Pitt now with a 3rd down and 1 on the Notre Dame side of the field for the second time this afternoon. Neither team has been able to score. Pitt has not had a good opportunity as the Panthers have fumbled away a football and then punted once. So let's see what they do now on a 3rd and 1 against Notre Dame, who missed a 43-yard field goal by Kearney to keep the game in a scoreless tie, which is where we stand right now. Under beautifully sunny skies, temperature fairly close to 70 degrees. And it's just a perfect afternoon in front of Notre Dame's 67th consecutive sellout. Pitt now with a power formation on 3rd and 1. The Notre Dame 47. And the give is to Ironhead, and he's through there for the first down. Craig Ironhead Hayward gets to the 46-yard line. He got the one that he needed. Almost got to the 45, where Ron Wiesenhofer, linebacker for Notre Dame, at 6'3", 221, made the tackle on the play, but not before Ironhead, behind the blocking of Matt Lavinia and Tommy Brown, made the first down for Pitt.
And Notre Dame had their whole football team in that spot. They know the short yardage offense of Pitt. They're going to have to adjust. Notre Dame knows the short yardage offense.
2-yard gain for Hayward. First down and 10 just outside the 45 for the Panthers in Notre Dame territory. This time Kangemi goes with no motion as Notre Dame shows a blitz, and Kangemi goes with a long count. They do blitz. Kangemi has the pass batted and incomplete. Tried to throw it over the middle for Billy Osborne, but somebody got a hand on it for Notre Dame and caused the incompletion. Notre Dame that time just showed the blitz and came with it. Wally Klein at 6'9", 274 reached up and got a piece of that John Kangemi pass.
It's not easy to throw over that Notre Dame defensive front. They're so tall, and John is having a little problem now finding a seam to throw through.
The incompletion stops the clock. 4:45 left first quarter. No score between the Panthers and the Fighting Irish. Michael Stewart split all the way to the wide boundary to the near side. 2nd down and 10. Pitt at the Notre Dame 45. Pitt trying to spread that Notre Dame defense. Back is Kangemi. Plants. Has time, fires over the middle, wide open. Chuck Scales first down at the 30-yard line. Gives ground and is hit hard back at the 33-yard line. He gave up 3 yards. Steve Lawrence, the free safety, had his shirt and pulled him down, but he got a whale of a lick from behind. Scales is okay, but he gave up 3 yards. Still got the Panther first down at the Notre Dame 33-yard line.
Now, the reason that Pitt was able to throw that ball to an open man was that Ironhead Hayward had looped out of the backfield and settled in front of the linebackers and was open. When the linebackers closed on him, they threw deep to Osborne.
1st and 10, the Panthers at the Notre Dame 33. 3 wideouts to the wide side, the right side, and now Osborne with reverse motion goes back out to the right. Blitz. Kangemi pass incomplete for Osborne. It was thrown a little tall, but a little bit wide of the mark at the 30-yard line. Osborne from that reverse motion into the slot area, into the flat area, just couldn't hold on. Kangemi overthrew as that time he was pressured just ever so slightly to force a 2nd down and 10. That stops the clock. 4:14. First quarter, we have no score.
Notre Dame came with what we call the Mad Dog Blitz. The nose guard went to the right, and both linebackers looped and came to the left. They didn't get through, but the pressure allowed Kangemi to throw the ball too high to his wideout, who was on single coverage.
Chuck Scales lines up as a flanker to the right. Osborne in the wide slot to the wide side. Tinsley, wingback left, goes in motion to the right, and Stewart is the wideout to the left boundary. Single setback. John Kangemi rolls right. Big rush, and he ducks out of there to the left. Looks downfield. Now he's going to finally throw it, and it will be caught by Michael Stewart at the 26-yard line. And he's knocked out of bounds. It is a catch at the 26-yard line and a gain of 7 yards. Dave Butler shoved Stewart out of bounds. Stewart did a great job of holding on to the football.
When Kangemi broke, the problem was we did complete the pass. That Pitt completed the pass, but the receivers all came back in the same direction. So he had a difficult time to find it. It was a great throw by Kangemi because as he scrambled, he finally found his receiver who was working back to the football. They're now in a situation where they must make it to keep the ball sustained. 3rd down along 3. The Panthers at the Notre Dame 26, wide side of the field to the right. Scoreless game so far. Kangemi steps in. Motion by Osborne, one of the 2 wingbacks, to the near side. Kangemi back to pass. Big blitz pass. Incomplete. Drop by Keith Tinsley at the 20-yard line. It's 4th down and 3. Pressure by outside defensive end Dave Butler caused Kangemi to throw that ball kind of wobbly, but still it was a very catchable football. Tinsley didn't hold on at him right in the midsection. Wide open. And he might have caught the ball and gone. That's the big thing. He was wide open after he dropped the football, but that's football. The kid's allowed to miss it. He's a college boy, isn't he?
Field goal try for freshman Jeff Van Horn of Cheney, Washington of the Panthers is a 43-yarder. Angle left to right. He's got 4 in a row. Rolling snap, but he gets the kick away. It will be short end to the right. The rolling snap is what hurt that timing of that play. And as Jeff Van Horn came through, Kangemi did a good job of getting the ball finally on the tee, but by that time the timing of the play was off and it just was not a good kick.
No way he could kick. The ball rolled back to the holder. Kangemi did get it upright, but the kicker had to take a pause step and wasn't able to get the ball, kick the ball well enough, and both sides now have missed field goals.
Now Notre Dame goes to a new quarterback. Steve Berline runs onto the field.
To the applause of the people.
In some cases. I hear some of those other applause efforts that you hear in a place called the Bronx.
That's Andrusek's mother and father.
Notre Dame first down. Berline back. Delayed blitz. Firing it downfield. Incomplete. It's not even close to anybody. The intended receiver, put intended in quotes, was tailback Mark Green. And Jerry Wall had him step for step covered very well. Wall, coming off a knee injury, did a good job that time. No, that wasn't Wall. That was Steve Apke, who was step for step with him. And it was incomplete as Berline had to unload the football. Panthers on a delayed blitz.
They did, and that was Olszewski that came on the blitz. It's interesting. They put Berline in the game, and Pitt immediately goes to the middle blitz, and it worked.
The pass wasn't even close. So Notre Dame now in a scoreless game. 3:23 left first quarter. 2nd and 10 from their own 26. And a play action fake by Berline. Pumps once, fires a pass complete. Circling on the backfield is Green. After the 30, the 35, the 40. One man to beat, and that's Billy Owens. Owens tackles him, but he gets to the 48-yard line for 22 yards and a Notre Dame first down. Mark Green out of the backfield. We told you he was a weapon. That is his 18th catch of the season, and Notre Dame set that play up beautifully. A pump fake by Berline after a play action fake, then the pump fake, and then when he hit Green in stride, circling out of the backfield, he had that head of steam. And
he had a fine blocker. Notre Dame had an offensive lineman downfield kicking out on the cornerman, who did an exceptionally good job on the cornerback for Pitt.
1st and 10, Notre Dame at their own 48. Bert Grossman is back in there after receiving an injury on an earlier play. Notre Dame out of the eye, and the give is to the tailback, and that is Anthony Johnson. And Anthony Johnson gets across midfield, caught the football up as he hit the turf at the Pitt 48-yard line after picking up about 4 yards. And so that's the reason for the sign on the airplane today. Freshman Anthony Johnson at 6'1", 220. He's from right here in South Bend, Indiana.
And his dad owns an airplane and a large banner.
They spot the football at the Pitt 49-yard line, so Johnson will pick up exactly 3 yards on the play. 2nd down and 7 for Notre Dame. No score. Late stages first quarter, 2:40 remaining. Flanker left and a split end right for the Irish. Play action fake Berline. He's back. And he throws a pass out of the backfield to Green. Green is going to go nowhere. Gets a yard. That's about all. Good defense across the way by Bert Grossman, who was floating out there as a defensive end. Had help from one of the Panther linebackers, Steve Apke, coming all the way across the field in pursuit. And the gain is forward. Actually, it is backward. It is a loss on the play to the 49 of Notre Dame, so it'll be 3rd down and 9.
That Notre Dame had the same play the other way. Short screen with the lineman out in front of it, but the Pitt defense read it, came underneath, and was able to stop it for a no-gain or loss of yardage, really.
Yep, loss of 2, 3rd down and 9. Notre Dame at the Notre Dame 49-yard line. Twin wideouts to the wide side, the right side. Berline, his first series as quarterback for the Irish, sends Green in motion, the tailback going to the left. Berline straight back. Has time, firing the pass, and it will be caught on a great catch at the Pitt 42-yard line for a first down by Milt Jackson. Had the ball pinned between his right hand and his helmet as he came down, and he made a great catch for the first down at the Pitt 42, but referee Bill McDonald says not necessarily first down. We want to see how close it is. He's going to bring the chains in.
It is very, wasn't it? It was a great catch. The Notre Dame boy just wouldn't give up on the football, and the defense on Pitt's side played it well. It was just a great catch by Notre Dame at that time. They're going to measure now for the first down.
They stretch the chains out. It's going to be close. And the lead chain is stretched, and it is a Notre Dame first down by the nose of the football on a great catch by Milt Jackson at the Pitt 42-yard line. 9-yard reception, but boy, you look at that and you put that one on the highlight film.
It was a fine catch. What an athlete.
It didn't appear as the ball came into him because a great hit by Quentin Jones, the Panther cornerback, that Jackson could ever hold on. Hold on, he did. Had the ball pinned up against his helmet, which was certainly a legal catch, and somehow as he hit the ground managed to hold on to the football. Notre Dame first and 10 at the Pitt 42, a minute 17 left first quarter, no score yet. Pitch back to the left side, Green. Following blocking, Panthers have it strung out, and Green has nowhere to go. Great run support by Gary Richard coming up from the Panthers secondary to make the tackle on Mark Green for no gain.
Gary Richards, seeing the flow come toward him, didn't wait, and Gary is the corner man. As soon as the flow came up, Gary came hard from the outside, allowing the inside pursuit to get to the ball carrier, and Gary himself making the play for Pitt.
A little help from Troy Washington coming up from his free safety spot to help make the tackle. Slight loss on the play, but statistically it is second down and 10. Notre Dame at the Pitt 42 with 39 seconds left of the first quarter, no score. Receivers to both sides, and Burline with a long count. Turns and gives to his tailback Green, and Green is going to be hit by Anthony Siragusa for no gain on the play. He might have gotten a half yard. That's all. It'll be third down and long for the Fighting Irish.
You know what happened there again, Bill? The Pitt's defense is moving. There's a flag down there. Why don't you take that one, eh?
Well, Bill McDonald is talking to his umpire, and let's see if the call goes against Notre Dame.
Holding.
It will be personal foul against Pitt. That hurts because you have Notre Dame caught in a third and long, and suddenly the personal foul just going to change everything and give Notre Dame a first down and a big gob of yardage deep into Pitt territory and across the 30-yard line.
It was a late hit, said Larry Richards. I thought I'd give you credit for that, Larry.
Billy Owens, the Panthers' strong safety, coming up to check with the official, Jim Owens, who threw the flag. Owens, the umpire, explaining what happened. And so the Panthers with a late hit. And that hurts. Personal foul.
They can't afford that.
Notre Dame first and 10 at the Pitt 26-yard line.
Let's see if Notre Dame doesn't come right at him now, Bill.
Burline on a first and 10 at his own 26. Gives to his fullback, Pernell Taylor. Nope, that's Tom Monahan, and Monahan leans in there for a couple of yards to about the 24. Monahan, at 5'10", 210 pounds, is a senior, along with Pernell Taylor, who's also a senior. And Monahan, so far in the football season, has just carried for his 7th time. On the final play of the first quarter, that's the end of the first quarter with a score. Notre Dame nothing, and the Panthers nothing.
Motor malfunctioning, paint peeling, brakes broke? Time for a new car. Here's what you do. Pick a dealer, pick a car. Then
Notre Dame, as we get set to start the second quarter in a scoreless ball game, has a second down and 8 at the Pitt 24-yard line. The Panthers apparently had forced Notre Dame into third and long back outside the 35 when it was discovered that the Panthers were guilty of a late hit, a personal foul, and of course that changed everything. Instead of third and long, Notre Dame had a first and 10 at the Pitt 26-yard line, and now they face second down and 8 on the first play of the second quarter. We have no score as yet. Each team has missed a 43-yard field goal. Neither team has been close to pay dirt. You get the idea that Notre Dame is doing things by the numbers in the first part of the football game offensively?
Yeah, they're probing for something. I'm trying to figure them out. They're running the football between the tackles. They have not tried to get outside except for a loose sweep. And they screen twice outside and throw it out. They're not really complicated. They want to put two hands on the ball and let Pitt make the mistakes. I think now you'll find them go right at it again. I'd be surprised. If they throw now, they're going to throw the top of the field, right side.
Ball is spotted closer to the 23-yard line, so we'll call it second down and a long 7 for Notre Dame as we have a delay here coming out of a break. 59,075. And they enjoy their football here at South Bend. And some of these people, some of these Notre Dame fans, making long journeys to see the Fighting Irish when they play home games. A lot of people from Pittsburgh came down, and I've seen a lot of blue and gold rooting for the Panthers here.
Yeah, there are a lot of people here. Blue and gold, is it? Because you said black and gold before, and I was counting the ushers, Bill. Oh, they're wearing black and gold.
Alonzo Jefferson, the tailback, on second down, a long 7 for Notre Dame at the 23. And he gets the call, and he'll be hit and hit immediately. Fine job by Billy Owens coming from his strong safety spot. And then outside help on the fine hit for the Panthers, Steve Apke. Apke made the ECAC honor roll for his performance last week in a loss against Temple, in which Apke made 15 tackles. You get the idea that Apke, who did not start a game earlier this year for lackluster play, has kind of rebounded very positively.
He sure has. Do you have a feeling that Lou Holtz is playing for a kick again?
No gain on the play. Third down and 7. Notre Dame at the Pitt 23. Tim Brown in motion to the wide side. Burline takes, and he sets up the option left. Stringing it out. Green tries to turn the corner, but it'll be knocked out of bounds on fine pursuit by Darrell Woods, who step for step was with Hiawatha Francisco, the tailback, who got the pitch out to the left side and got to the 18-yard line for 5. It's 4th down and 2 for the Fighting Irish, and Carney, the place kicker, is on the field.
Notre Dame did not run a play except the option there to the left. A pass or a short pass to get into any better field position. They're setting something up.
Field goal by John Carney, who's 5 of 9 so far this year out of Sorensen's hold, will be a 36-yard effort. Angle left to right. Ball's on the tee. Carney's kick is long enough. It is high enough, and the kick is good. Notre Dame breaks the ice and leads this contest by a score of 3-0 on a 36-yard field goal by John Carney. 14-14 left second quarter. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back.
Right back, America.
They're calling it a 35-yard field goal by John Carney. Field goal drive of 59 yards in 10 plays. Notre Dame consuming 4 minutes, 44 seconds in the scoring drive to get the 3-point field goal, but it would not have been possible had it not been for a penalty-aided situation where the Panthers were guilty of a late hit to give Notre Dame a first down where they would have faced a 3rd and long. They would have faced a 3rd down and 9 at the Pitt 41. Instead, they had a 1st and 10 at the 26.
And it was unnecessary, as all late hits are.
I did notice, though, Billy Owens, who apparently was guilty, went to the man who made the call, Jim Owens, the umpire, and said, okay, now what did I do wrong? And I'm sure that there was some communication there.
I'm sure he did it because they wouldn't call it in such a critical situation without that.
35-yard field goal is what the press box is saying for John Carney as the ball was spotted just outside the 35-yard line. 14-14 remaining, second quarter. Notre Dame leads it 3-0. Notre Dame will kick it off right to left. Michael Hadley will receive for the Panthers back in his own end zone. He'll be flanked up to his right by Chuck Scales and up to his left by freshman Doug Hetzler of North Hills High School. And way up at the 30-yard line is that familiar countenance and the physique of the one and only Craig Hayward. He'll only figure on a squib kick. He will try to block 1 or 2 people on the way down the field. Here comes Carney's kickoff right to left. Notre Dame leading 3-0. Second quarter early. And the kick will ride the breeze. Down to the goal line. Hadley takes. Bobbles the ball. Picks it up and tries to bring it out. And he's in trouble. Running back laterally toward his own end zone. He'll be tackled at the 1-yard line. They shoved it back into the end zone, but Hadley will be tackled just outside the goal line at the 1-foot line by George Streeter. I think some of the Notre Dame partisans are thinking that might have been a safety there, but Hadley had forward progress outside the goal line, but now the Panthers really in a hole, trailing 3-0 and 99 yards plus away from pay dirt.
When you're that close to the end zone, there's no reason to run laterally. You must get the ball away from the end line. And Hadley did not. He ran laterally and was almost thrown into the end zone for the safety. They got to get it out of here. They're on about the inch line, aren't they?
The ball is probably, we said 1-foot line. We're exaggerating. That's about 3 inches from the goal line. And Jimmy now with a single setback shows reverse motion by Tinsley from his own couple inch line. He's going to throw from his own end zone. Pass complete to the 5, but it's to Scales. Scales giving ground. Will be tackled out of bounds at the 4-yard line. Call that a pickup of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down 7. Troy Wilson, the cornerback, came up and made a sure-handed tackle on Chuck Scales.
Gutsy call. Scales could have got a few more yards out of that. He danced. He didn't need to be dancing. He should have been waltzing upfield with the football. He made a move, and there was nobody to move on. But it was a gutsy call.
Ball is on the 4-yard line. It's a gain of 3. It's 2nd down and 7 for the Panthers. You talk about the shadow of your own goalposts. The Panthers were in it very much and are still relatively within it. Center Chip Bukowskis out over the ball, and Kajemi straight back on a quick count. Pass complete. No! Scales drops it at the 13-yard line. Wide open into his midsection. And the ball is incomplete. 3rd down along 6. Darrell Gordon trying to provide coverage on the play, but Scales relatively wide open on that hook pattern.
Can't get any more wide open than that. Drop the football. Would have had the first down. Very necessary to get it here. So even if they don't make another first down, they can kick and get relatively better football position. They're not going to get real good field position from this location at this time.
Michael Stewart, a wide receiver way out to the left side. Scales, flanker to the near side, the right. Double wing back. One of those is Tinsley. He goes in motion. Jimmy takes on third and long in his own end zone, ducks the rush, steps up, fires a long pass downfield that will be tipped away, incomplete. Intended for Chuck Scales out at the 43-yard line, but a fine diving tip and a pass broken up by cornerback Marv Spence. And the Panther punt team is on the field on 4th down and 7. Notre Dame now may decide to come after John Rasp. He's going to await this punt snap from Bob Sine about 2 feet away from his own end line. The snap is true. Rasp has time and kicks it away. It's going to be a low wobbly kick taken by Milt Jackson. Jackson trying to get out of there. Still on his feet. Dodges about 5 tackles, and finally Zeke Gadsden and Matt Lavinia knock him down at the Pitt 38-yard line. So Notre Dame, they're going to actually mark it at the 37 because that's where they say he had forward progress. So Notre Dame in excellent field position with a 3-0 lead has a 1st and 10 at the Pitt 37-yard line. Notre Dame leading 3-0 in the second quarter with 13:37 remaining. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
Can you name 8 ounces of kid-pleasing thirst quench?
Notre Dame sending their plays in with their messenger tight ends, both Joel Williams and Andy Heck. Williams, of course, of Gateway High School, but the Fighting Irish with a 3-0 lead, 13:37 left second quarter, have excellent field position to start this drive just outside the Pitt 37-yard line following John Rasp's punt out of his own end zone. The Jackson returned and ducked about 5 tackles, and finally Lavinia knocked him down along with Gadsden at the Pitt 37-yard line, so the Panther defense once again will have to dig in.
And Notre Dame, I believe, will keep both hands on the football, try to move it into scoring position so that they get on the board. It seems as if they're afraid to gamble with the pass in the middle of the football field. By that I mean throwing the ball to the middle of the field. So if Notre Dame does pass, it'll be to the out men, and they're going to continue to run between the tackles.
Notre Dame sends twin receivers out to the wide side of the field on a 1st and 10 at the Pitt 37-yard line. That's Milt Jackson and Tim Brown. And Brown is a flyer. Berline back. Rush fires for the long corner of the end zone. It will be overthrown by 5 yards as the streaking Milt Jackson tried to get around the coverage of Quentin Jones. Jones had good coverage, and Berline was forced into throwing that ball ahead of time, I believe, by Anthony Siragusa, who threw the pressure on him.
Yes, and I think Woods also come from the top of the screen. Darrell, the linebacker, they seem to blitz when Berline gets in the ball game.
It was a takeoff pattern geared for a touchdown. Jackson trying to get around Jones. Now they go wishbone on 2nd and 10 at the Pitt 37. Berline steps in. Option. Now he's going to decide to throw, and he's going to be sacked on the play. He started to pump to his right, but he was sacked by Bert Grossman as he reversed field and came back to the short side to the left, and Grossman just said, hell, if you come my way, here we go, and down he went. Berline that time, I don't know what he saw that made him decide to reverse field.
He was supposed to run the option to the top of the screen. It was penetration, turned and thought maybe he was going the wrong way, and there was no man to pitch to, so he actually went down. There was nobody out in the pattern at all.
Lost 4 yards on the play, did Berline. 3rd down and 14. Notre Dame leading 3-0. Has a 3rd and 14 at the Pitt 41-yard line. Milt Jackson, the receiver to the left side. Now Berline decides, hey, we're getting too close here, and I better call timeout. So Notre Dame calls time. Each team has called 1 timeout here in the first half. Notre Dame leads it 3-0. 12:51 left second quarter. There's a break here in the action at South Bend, and we'll be right back. Mason with the Panthers trailing 3-0. Notre Dame facing a 3rd and 14 at the Pitt 41. Do the Panthers expect some sort of trick play right here?
They could, but I don't. It all depends what their formation is. I look for them to throw the football, and I also look for Pitt to blitz, and they'll be throwing the ball to the top of the screen, top of the field for a one-on-one look.
Now the Panthers regroup as Notre Dame goes into their second huddle, and the Panthers break their defensive huddle. And Alonzo Jefferson is in there as a tailback, along with fullback Tom Monahan. 3rd down and 14. Jefferson in motion to the left. Notre Dame from the Pitt 41 and back. Berline, delayed blitz, and he is nailed. I mean to tell you, Berline is nailed by Troy Washington on the safety blitz. It was unbelievable. And I mean to tell you, when he came from the right side, you had to feel for Berline. He's sitting there like a sitting duck, had no chance, and that wobbly pass had no chance to find anybody.
That's just what we thought they'd do. They had to blitz on the down because they knew that Notre Dame had to throw. Good call for Pitt.
Safety blitz by Troy Washington that was absolutely devastating, and The punter is on for Notre Dame, Dan Sorensen. He's going to kick it high and short. Fair catch signaled for by Terrell Austin. Had to get a man out of his way. And the marker flies, definitely. Notre Dame had to interfere with Austin's right to fair catch the football. The player was bumping him before the ball came down. I don't know if they'll call that bumping or face guarding, but it's not legal.
Well, I'll tell you who called it. Terrell Austin called it. He pushed the kid away and looked at the official and said, I'm supposed to be allowed to catch this thing.
And Notre Dame guilty of interfering with the fair catch procedure. And so the Panthers get a break. Instead of having the ball at their own 13-yard line, they're going to get a little breathing room. Referee Bill McDonald marches off 5 yards. And so the Panthers now will start from their own 18-yard line, which is way better than the 1-foot line. 3-0 Notre Dame. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back.
Pitt Panthers.
Notre Dame guilty of a 5-yard penalty for interfering with the fair catch by Terrell Austin. One of the players, and I believe was number 83 for Notre Dame, was downfield bumping with Austin, and that was Reggie Ward. And so the penalty against Notre Dame was for 5 yards. And so instead of starting at the 13, Panthers get the luxury of starting this drive at their own 18-yard line, trailing 3-0.
They have not had very many luxuries. Pitt has had very poor field position and is unable to open up the offense. However, they threw 3 straight passes from out of their own end zone, so it doesn't make any difference, it seems. It just would be able to breathe easier if Pitt could get across the 50-yard line.
Panthers have done that twice so far, but not really had any serious penetration against Notre Dame. Jimmy back on first down, throwing the pass wide of the mark, incomplete. Trying to come back on the football was Chuck Scales, and he didn't hold on to it as the ball was thrown behind him toward the sideline. Coverage by cornerback Marv Spence. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Panthers from their own 18. They trail it 3-0 here with 12:34 left of the second quarter. Ironhead Hayward comes in at fullback, replacing Tom Brown.
It hasn't been because Pitt's receivers are not open. It's just they haven't held the ball as well as they should. But there's people open on the football field, and if they start catching it, they're going to get better field.
Stewart and Tinsley out to the wide side of the field. Wing back right is Osborne in motion to overload the left side. And Jimmy on 2nd and 10 from his own 18 is back and looking. Pass incomplete to Craig Hayward. Into and out of his hands at the 18-yard line as he tried to turn and spin it upfield against Darrell Gordon, the defensive end. But it was incomplete, and the Panthers face a 3rd down and 10.
That was not a primary receiver. He just threw that ball to get rid of it. Craig was actually covered too well by the Notre Dame defense for it to be of any value. But Kangemi had to throw the ball in order not to be sacked.
Panthers' deepest penetration has been to the 26-yard line of Notre Dame, but then Jeff Van Horn missed a 43-yard field goal because the snap bounced on the way back and the timing was off. Notre Dame also missing a 43-yarder, but then it was Kearney making a 35-yarder here early in the second quarter to give Notre Dame the lead. They now enjoy 3-0. Pitt now with their work cut out. 3rd down and 10 at their own 18. Double receivers to both sides. Single setback is Tom Brown. Tinsley in motion to the right. Kangemi is straight back. Plants, fires a pass downfield, and incomplete. Michael Stewart was hit as he tried to pull the football in at the 40-yard line, and Stewart is hurt. And he was hit hard. Michael Stewart, trying to pull that ball in, was hit by cornerback Troy Wilson and free safety Steve Lawrence, who nailed him, and Stewart is motionless out at the 41-yard line.
They caught Stewart in midair. He was making a good try, and the ball almost had it, in fact, but the Notre Dame defender came up and hit him while he was in midair, and with no protection, Stewart really got hit hard, and he's down now motionless. I'm sure he'll be all right, but it was a great play by the Notre Dame defender and a well-thrown ball by Kangemi.
That was a sandwich treatment, and Stewart is still down. Trainer Rex Call is out there. Team physician Dr. Freddie Fu. And now he's beginning to move a little bit. Apparently the wind is knocked out of him. I hope it's not more serious than that. But Michael Stewart is motionless, and the Panther punt team is on the field and waiting. I'd like to greet our listeners along the Pitt Radio Network to WTIV in Titusville, Pennsylvania, up in Warren, PA, WRRN, and in Norwalk, Ohio on WLRK. Back in my Godfrey country, greetings to those folks in the Buckeye State who are listening to this broadcast. Panthers trail at 3-0. Pitt has had poor field position with 2 exceptions. They've been in the Notre Dame territory twice so far, once to the 26, but they missed the field goal try. And now the punt team is on, and Notre Dame will get the football back, apparently. And he's wobbly as he goes off and gets a hand from the Notre Dame partisan peer at South Bend. Not an easy sport, this game of football.
He was knocked unconscious there for a while. He'll be all right. You saw a lot of blue funnels, I imagine, there for a while.
Blue funnels?
Blue funnels. They come out and circle. But the kid's okay. I can make a little fun of it now because I was really concerned. When you see him lay down like that, it really scares me.
Line of scrimmage, the 18, and Rasp gets the punt away. It's not going to be a long kick. It's going to be high and short. And it hits a Panther on the way down there, so the Panthers cover up. One of the Notre Dame forward people was trying to block a Panther, and he was the one who was standing there when the ball hit his shoulder. It's an inadvertent touch of the football. No penalty involved. But Notre Dame, again, excellent field position. Will have it 1st and 10 to Pitt 47. Now did an official throw the flag. We've got a powwow and a conference and a meeting of the UN Security Council. We're going to find out here as referee Bill McDonald steps in to try to sort things out. Now they're saying the penalty is going to be against Pitt for interfering with the fair catch procedure.
Now, what I think on this, Pitt is trying to say that the ball hit a Notre Dame player and it should be their ball.
No, it's what they're going to call is illegally touching the football, and the only penalty is that it's down right there at the 45-yard line. So Notre Dame will still have excellent field position. There will be no march out.
45-yard line.
27-yard punt by John Rasp. And so Notre Dame in excellent field position in Pitt territory at the 45 starts this drive with 12:15 left second quarter. ND on top 3-0. Twin receivers out to the left in a slot formation. Out of the eye, Burline. Play action fakes. Going to throw a little dump pass. Complete to the left side to the tailback. A flag is down as the tailback, Anthony Johnson, turns it upfield and is tackled out of bounds on the near side of the field into the Notre Dame bench. Making the stop on the play was Darrell Woods coming across the field. But this looks like a holding call against Notre Dame. The penalty marker was, we have a Panther down. And that, I believe, who is down at the 43-yard line and receiving attention from the Pitt training corps.
That's where the flag came from. He was clipped. Whoever that is was clipped.
Walter Johnson is down. The Panthers already thin in the defensive tackle slot could ill afford an injury here. Walter Johnson is down. Now remember, that play was going to the wide side of the field. It is not Walter Johnson. It is Quentin Jones. Quentin Jones, the junior from Pompano Beach, is down and being attended to by the Pitt training corps. And Pitt's Gary Richard checking with the officials saying, was he clipped on the play? And I don't know whether that's why the flag flew. Maybe that's probably the call. And that would weigh on both limbs. That's a good sign. Notre Dame guilty of holding. So instead of 1st and 10 at the Pitt 45-yard line, Notre Dame will face a 1st and 19 at the Notre Dame 46-yard line, which gives the defense a little bit of breathing room right here. Coming in to take Jones' place in the Panther lineup at the corner will be Robert Bradley. Bradley, 5'10", 180-pound redshirt freshman from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Let's see if Notre Dame tries to take advantage of his inexperience. He's played a lot of nickelback for the Panthers, but never been out on that island by himself. Burline, shovel pass forward to the fullback, and Pernell Taylor has nowhere to go. The Panthers diagnosed it beautifully. Getting in there to help submerge everything was Walter Johnson, and help from the outside from Jerry Olszewski, but Johnson made the play and made it possible, and the shovel pass works for 1 yard. It's 2nd down and 18.
It was a well-conceived play. Notre Dame was going to try to take advantage of the hard rush of the interior Pitt team. However, Johnson read it and was able to adapt to the underhand pitch or the shuffle pass.
2nd down, 18. The Panthers defense digs in. Notre Dame at their own 47. Timmy Brown in motion. Pitt with a nickel alignment in the secondary. Rolling right is Burline. Has Pastor in front of him. And trying to ad-lib a pattern, and the man is down there, but the pass will be incomplete. Good coverage by Billy Owens on the wide receiver, Milt Jackson. Burline out there had the luxury and all the time in the world to direct traffic. Looked like a traffic cop, and he's sending people into patterns, and what he was trying to tell the wide receiver, Milt Jackson, was, go ahead deep, I'm going to let this baby go. But again, he wasn't even close to being on the mark. It'll be 3rd down and 18. Again, can we look for a trick play here?
Nope. I still don't feel the trick play. I think he's a little too concerned to do that. The reason he was able to get out there, they sandwiched Woods on the block at the corner, and there was no one standing, so Burline had all the room in the world to run if he had wanted to.
Milt Jackson lines up way to the right. Tim Brown in the slot to the right side, the wide side. Notre Dame 3rd and 18 from their own 47. Notre Dame leading 3-0 2nd quarter. Burline play action fake. Delayed blitz. And he'll be hit and sacked by Walter Johnson back at the 42-yard line. Walter Johnson playing a whale of a defensive football game. Sacks Burline, and the Notre Dame punt team is on. Sorensen with an average of 40.5 will await the long snap by John Grebe. Line of scrimmage, the Notre Dame 42, a loss on the play on the sack by Walter Johnson. 4th down and 23 for Notre Dame. Sorensen has time to kick a beautiful punt. It's high, and it has Billy Osborne looking up into the sun to take it at his own 12-yard line. Through the hole at the 20, still on his feet at the 22-yard line, and that's where he's tackled on the play. And this will be the best field position Pitt has enjoyed to start a drive in a while. Matt Dingens made the tackle. 10:19 left second quarter with timeout on the field to score. Notre Dame 3, the Panthers nothing. In sports parlance, they call it the voice of the fan. When the PA announcer here at South Bend decided to tell the crowd that the next home game for Notre Dame would start at 11:30, there was a loud Bronx cheer. The fans feel that that's too early in the day to start a football game. And it is indeed too early in the day. What time do these people who make long treks have to get up to try to get here? I mean, if you lived in Indianapolis or someplace like that, you have to get up before the cows do. First down and 10. The Panthers trailing 3-0. Second quarter with 10:19 remaining at their own 23-yard line to start this drive. Motion by Ironhead Hayward back as Dunning the I tailback, and Hayward gets the call as the second man through, and he gets a 1 yard. That's about all. Notre Dame had him surrounded. Wes Pritchard, an inside linebacker from Atlanta, Georgia, made the tackle on the play as Ironhead tried to follow the block of Tommy Brown, but Pritchard had gotten and looped around Brown and made the tackle at the 24-yard line. Second down and 11 for the Panthers at their own 24. Chuck Scales is onto the field replacing Ironhead Hayward, so the Panthers obviously going to go a one-back set right here with 4 wideouts. 2 of those are deployed to the near side, Osborne and Scales. Stewart to the left side. And Tom Brown's in the backfield with Charles Gladman. And so Kajemi's back, pressure, steps up, and he'll be hit and dropped at the 26-yard line. From behind, Kajemi was hit by nose guard Mike Griffin. John did a good job of ad-libbing against the first rush, got around the first man, but then when he came forward, Griffin had those waiting arms and tackled him at the 26-yard line for an advance of 2. It'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Panthers, who trail this contest 3-0, 9:15 left second quarter.
Pitt has got to come up with a big play. They've got to get to a position where when they punt the football, you're going to have the other team, Notre Dame, back on the 20. Until that happens, they're going to be playing this push-pull. It's really a boring game right now.
3rd down and 9, the Panthers from their own 26. Motion by Keith Tinsley to the short side. Kajemi rolling left, and a little dump pass, a screen pass to Tommy Brown. First down up to the 35, the 40. Brown, the freight train, gets to the 43-yard line. Tommy Brown, 17 yards on the little screen pass to the left side. It was almost a shovel pass because Kajemi didn't pass the ball. He flipped it.
It was a rolling screen. That's what they needed. Pitt has to have another one of those to get where that they punt the football, they back Notre Dame up. Or they got to move down where they can be potentially able to score on one play.
17-yard pickup on the screen pass reception by Tom Brown. And a first down for the Panthers at their own 43-yard line. And finally for the offense, some breathing room. Kajemi with a single setback look. Off to Hayward. Hayward, the only back, drives it forward across the 45 to the 47-yard line, where nose guard Mike Griffin and defensive right tackle Wally Klein, the 6'9 product of Midland, Texas, made the tackle for the Fighting Irish. They'll spot the football at just outside the 47-yard line, so that's a pickup of 4. Second down and 6 for the Panthers, who trail this contest 3-0, 8:07 left second quarter.
When you get in that kind of field position where Pitt is now, you can afford that kind of luxury, that up the middle first play.
Pitt moving left to right second quarter. Wide side of the field is to the right. And in that wide slot is Billy Osborne. Outside him, Scales. 2 receivers to the left side, the short side, and one of those Tinsley in reverse motion back to the short side. Kajemi takes on 2nd and 6. Pass over the middle and pulled in by Michael Stewart, who's back in there, and he's got a Pitt first down at the Notre Dame 42. Had to reach slightly behind him to pull it in. Did a great job before being tackled by cornerback Marv Spence, and it's good to see Michael Stewart okay.
Pitt was very astute there because they went again. Notre Dame used the Mad Dog Blitz, which is the nose guard going one way, both linebackers coming. And when you do that, you have no underneath coverage, and you're one-on-one. And Kajemi read it and threw the short post, and it was clear.
This Mike Godfrey passing attack, Tony Mason, is all based on timing.
You're right.
It's amazing. It really is. The precision is just amazing to watch. 11-yard pickup by Stewart. First down at the Notre Dame 42. Tinsley again, reverse motion back to the short side. Kajemi back. Now from the weak side, he'll be hit and dumped after the whistle blew. They're not going to throw any flags. Is there a marker down? There is a marker down back at the 32-yard line of Notre Dame. Now let's see what they decide to call here. They whistled the play down. Cedric Figueroa is the guy who came in there after the whistle and dumped Kajemi. And let's see what they call here, because the marker is way away from where the discussion is being held. Delay of game against the Panthers. And so instead of 1st and 10 at the Notre Dame 42, it'll be 1st and 15 at the 47-yard line. Jimmy goes up to the man, Figueroa, and says, I understand what happened there. You probably didn't hear the whistle.
Well, it's, when the whistle blows and everybody stops and the guy keeps coming and nails the quarterback, somebody ought to at least go up to the man and say, don't do that, or hand him the hanky and walk off 15. This is a sport where you're not supposed to do that from behind. And it was done.
So the Panthers are penalized 5 yards. Delay of game. Panthers took too much time to set everything up. And so instead of 1st and 10 at the 42 of Notre Dame, 1st and 15 at the 47. John Kajemi has 106 yards passing. For the 4th time in his fine career at Pitt, he is over the 1,000-yard mark. He had that attained before he got into this game. Sweep right. Tommy Brown, the fullback. And he'll be hit and dropped for no gain. He maybe get a yard to the 48, maybe to the 49-yard line. But Notre Dame had the pursuit there. Cedric Figueroa from his defensive end spot with run support from cornerback Troy Wilson made the tackle. It is a 2-yard advance, so it'll be 2nd down and 13 at the 49-yard line of Pitt. The Panthers trailing 3-0, and now we're at the 6:40 mark as the clock turns 2nd quarter.
2nd and 14.
Michael Stewart lines up as a split end left. In the left wide slot is Charles Gladman. Scales a flanker right. Wing back, Billy Osborne in motion. As Kajemi goes back. He's going to throw it for the end zone. Down there is Gladman, and it will be dropped. Gladman didn't drop it. It was the Notre Dame secondary man who was collided with. Troy Wilson was hit by free safety Steve Lawrence, or he would have had an interception. The Panthers did not get behind the secondary that time. Pitt trying that deep pass. Maybe that's just decided to loosen things up a little bit. I don't know.
Well, he didn't want to throw it to that man. That was the secondary receiver. The man that Kajemi wanted to throw to was covered. He looked up and saw Gladman, didn't put enough air under the ball, underthrew it, but threw it deep enough. Had they caught it, it would have been better than any punt they had. So, no, it wasn't their primary man, and it wasn't a good pass route. It was well defended by Notre Dame.
3rd down and 14. Pitt at the Notre Dame 46-yard line. Panthers with a double wing. Tinsley in motion from the wing spot to the right side. Kajemi back. Big rush. Pass is caught by Billy Osborne, but it'll be a short gain out to into the Notre Dame 41-yard line, where James Bobb, a nickelback, made the tackle on the play. And again, the Pitt punt team is on the field. Chip Bukowskis, the center, is injured on the play. He's going to go off the field under his own power, but he is limping. Panthers are thin there, what with the injury to Ed Miller, who's re-injured his knee and not here. And it'd be interesting to see if the Panthers have to go to another center on the next series of downs. Meantime, it's 4th down. We'll call it 9 to go at the 41 of Notre Dame. Rast in punt formation. Milt Jackson back as the lone safety for Notre Dame. Snap is true, and Rast will kick it deep, and it'll go into the end zone on the fly. Touchback will give Notre Dame 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. A 41-yard punt by John Rast. The Notre Dame leading 3-0 starts at their own 20-yard line. 5:35 left, 2nd quarter. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
Excitement 87. Here now at your Greater Pittsburgh Pontiac dealers. The all-new Bonneville. So unique, it's America's only full-size sports set.
But Notre Dame must do that.
Milt Jackson is one wide out, and he'll be paired with Timmy Brown out to the left side, the wide side of the field. Notre Dame 3rd and 5 from their own 25. They lead it 3-0, 4:20 2nd quarter. Andrzak, short pocket, quarterback draw. He's hit, and he is hit hard. The ball is loose. They call the ball down. It is Pitt's football. The Panthers popped the ball loose, and the fumble was recovered by Panther defensive tackle Anthony Siragusa. I did not see who delivered the blow. Was it Walter Johnson? The ball popped loose, and Pitt gets that long-awaited break.
That's what we had to have on this side of the football field. Pitt stunted. They knew in order to get in command of the game, Pitt had to force a mistake. I felt that all along, and suddenly they blitzed at the right time and confused the blocking scheme of the offensive line, and there's the fumble.
1st and 10, the Panthers at the Notre Dame 26. And this is as deep in Notre Dame territory as the Panthers have been. Tinsley in motion. They give to Ironhead. Ironhead is hit by 3 Notre Dame players, and he barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. That play really never did set up properly. Mike Griffin, the nose guard, made the tackle with help from Mike Kowaleski, the inside linebacker for the Fighting Irish.
Notre Dame went into a short yardage defense on the play, slid their line over, and were able to get upfield and stop the Pitt team with penetration.
How about Gutty Ed Miller? Even with that knee injury, he is now playing center now that Chip Bukowskis got hurt on the previous series. Pitt now with a 2nd down and 9 at the 25-yard line of Notre Dame. Pitt trailing 3-0. Late second quarter. Kijemi back. Screen pass to the left side, complete to Keith Tinsley, and he gets a block and pops it inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Now that play could have gone for a much bigger yardage, except for a fine tackle by Cedric Figueroa, a defensive end. Ed Miller threw a block out there. Tinsley had a real good screen in front of him and almost popped it.
Well called. It was a great call, but played well by Notre Dame. Both sides played it well so that it gained yardage, but it was also stopped before it went all the way.
3rd down and 3 for the Panthers at the 19-yard line, following the gain of 6 by Tinsley on the screen pass. Panthers trailing 3-0, second quarter with 3 minutes remaining. Each team now has 2 timeouts remaining, and the Panthers take one of their 2, and they'll have 1 remaining. They stop the clock at 3:01, facing a 3rd down and 3 at the 19-yard line. Tony Mason, as a coach in this, honored by the presence of former Pitt great defensive back Tim Lewis, and we'll talk to Tim. 3rd down and 3. Pitt at the Notre Dame 19. Tinsley in motion toward the wide side to right side. Kijemi is rolling out that way. Looking, surveying, firing over the middle. Tinsley had it and lost it at the 3-yard line. Tinsley had it in his hands, and the ball popped up, and he tried to reach it as he crossed the goal line and could not, and the Panther field goal team is on. What a play that would have been, but it did not go.
It was open right from the beginning. The coverage, he had the coverage beat. They had the right play called at the right time. Post route inside against the blitz, and he drops the football.
Van Horn, a 36-yard field goal attempt. Angle left to right. The kick is blocked, and it's loose, and they're going for it, and Notre Dame will have it at the 28-yard line. Mike Griffin, a nose guard, got in there and blocked Van Horn's 36-yard field goal attempt, and the Irish have snatched back momentum.
Good afternoon with me, Larry Richert, 3 to 6 on Radio 1250 WTAE.
Center Chuck Lenz of Notre Dame is okay. He's jogging out the field under his own power, and James Bogus will come in to snap the football for the Irish. They're at the Pitt 17-yard line, and they face a 3rd down and 4. They lead it 6-0, and they're driving for more.
Berline is in the ball game, and Holtz went to the option. That was counter to what he's been doing.
Very interesting, because we've seen both quarterbacks, and they've both been in there for several different series in this football game, and now they come with the upset in the second half of Berline running more of an option attack than you would expect, because Andrzak has a reputation as the mover and shaker, the scrambler.
It's faster feet, and it's Notre Dame is really 2 hands on the ball.
You hear people talk about quick feet when it comes to quarterbacks. Why are feet so important?
It keeps you away from being caught.
So does blinding speed.
Same thing, but quick feet get you out of there immediately. Tell me about the Owls.
Oh, yes, I never did explain how the Temple Owls got their nickname. Wishbone, 3rd and 17. Berline back after play action, being chased deep. Siragusa, it gets there, and the pass is intercepted. The Panthers have it. Osofsky has it at the 17-yard line, but a marker is down. Berline was being chased. Apke caught the football. The ball was thrown in the direction of 2 Notre Dame jerseys and a Panther white jersey. The Panther white jersey tipped the ball in the air, and I think it might have been Bert Grossman. I am not sure.
I believe it was.
And the ball was tipped, and Apke caught it, and now we got a marker down, and we'll have a discussion. Referee William McDonald says illegal procedure against Notre Dame. That will obviously be declined. And the Panthers have the football on ND's second turnover.
Not a very good decision by Berline. He had nowhere to throw it. He was being pressured, and when he did throw it, he threw it in the hands of a defensive man. Plus, he threw it to 2 of his offensive linemen.
Second time that Apke's been involved in a turnover. He recovered a fumble and now intercepts a pass on a tip. And I believe it was Grossman who tipped it. Panthers 1st and 10 now, trailing 6-0. 10-16 left, 3rd quarter. Pitt at their own 17-yard line. Kijemi back, rush, fires a pass incomplete into and out of the hands of Billy Osborne. And it was not controlled by Osborne. It's incomplete. Grossman indeed. We get word from the press box, tipped that football to Steve Apke on the interception. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Osborne had the ball right in his hands. They called the correct play, drove everybody deep. Notre Dame dropped. Osborne came underneath. Kijemi hit him in the hands. Osborne dropped the football.
Craig Hayward heads for the Panthers sideline. Backs are split wide, both Brown and Gladman behind Kangemi on 2nd and 10 from his own 17. Brown in motion. Kangemi back. Big scramble in the pocket. He'll be sacked by Wally Klein and Dave Butler. Klein, a defensive tackle at 6'9", 274, and Butler, an outside linebacker or defensive end from Sylvania, Ohio. And John had nowhere to run. So the loss is from the 17, back inside the 15. They spot the football at the 12, so it's a loss of 5. 3rd down. We'll call it 15 for the Panthers.
Credit to Sack for the defensive cornerman of Notre Dame. Stewart was supposed to break the route off at 12 to 14 yards. He kept running. Kangemi couldn't throw the ball. Obviously, the rush then got to him.
Butler is officially given credit for the sack. Pitt trailing 6-0. 9:31 left 3rd quarter. Faces a 3rd and 15 from their own 12. Motion by Osborne to the wide side. Kangemi is back. Screen pass, right side, Ironhead out across the 15 to 20. First down to the 25. He's at the 30 and still on his feet as he's knocked out of bounds on the far side of the field. Not quite out of bounds, but knocked down at the sideline at the 32. Steve Lawrence made the tackle. Chip Bukowskis threw a whale of a block that springs Ironhead for the pickup out to the 32-yard line. A 20-yard gain on 3rd and 15. Big play.
Big play. They caught him in a blitz. It was only a 4-man, but when they did catch him in the blitz, that meant that the linebacker who was supposed to be on Ironhead all the way was not there, and they had to cover him with a deep back, and he was open in the flat for good yardage.
Line of scrimmage at 32, a 20-yard gain by Hayward on the screen pass reception. Split backs behind Kangemi now. Turns, and on the counter play, Gladman does a good job picking his way forward for a couple of yards to the 34-yard line. Off the ball, Osborne engaged in a whale of confrontation with the secondary man, Brandy Wells, the strong safety of Notre Dame, and a Notre Dame player is down back near the line of scrimmage, and let's see who that might be. He is down on his back, and that is Cedric Figueroa of Lafayette, Louisiana. And he is down on his back, and the Panthers trail at 6-0. 8:46 3rd quarter. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back.
It's the wave, it's the new way. It's the Coca-Cola rave. It's the cola taste. It's gonna be the next great taste of history. Yeah.
Cameron Coca-Cola has produced 4 special bicentennial cans for Pitt's 200th birthday. Collect all 4 with Coke, Classic Coke, Sprite, and Cherry Coke.
New wave. New wave. Coke, catch the wave. New wave. Woo!
Jim Harrington with the Super Bowl Countdown weekdays at 11:05 on Radio 1250 WTAE.
Panthers trail at 6-0. 8:46 left of the 3rd quarter. The injured player, Cedric Figueroa, has been helped from the field, and Dan Quinn is in his place as the defensive right end for Notre Dame. And the Panthers now face a 2nd down and 8 from their own 34-yard line, trailing 6-0, 3rd quarter.
Got to get that big play, Bill. Another one. Remember, we said that the last time. Something's got to happen big. They either got to throw running pass, or they got to throw that screen to get good yardage, or hit a post against a man. They're working at 2 small chunks. You know, little yardage, little yardage, little yardage. It means you're going to make a mistake. They got to get a big one.
I'd like to greet our listeners along the Panther Network in Butler, PA on WISR, over in Bradford, Pennsylvania on WESB, and over in Carlisle on WIOO, in Charleroi on WESA. Good to have you aboard. Panthers here at South Bend on a beautiful sunny afternoon, trailing 6-0 by virtue of 2 field goals by John Carney of the Irish, of 35 and 48 yards in the first half. Pitt has been held off the board throughout and now faces a 2nd down and 8 at their own 34.
2nd and 8.
Keith Tinsley is in there with Michael Stewart. They got 2 receivers to both sides. Kangemi back. Sets up. Pass on a great catch by Michael Stewart, running laterally across the field. Has a first down at the 45 and gets to the 47-yard line. Stewart, from his split position, ran into the middle of the field and then cut it back to the outside and ran right across the field and beautifully pulled that pass in. What a pass reception by Michael Stewart.
That was not an easy catch. He caught the ball in his fingertips right in the middle of the crowd, crossing the field, as you said, picking the blitz of Pitt. Pitt's blitzing more. The Notre Dame team is in a blitz series. They're coming with 4 and 5 people on the weak side, and that's tough to pick up.
13 yards. Pass play Kangemi to Stewart. 1st and 10 Pitt at its own 47, trailing 6-0. They give us Ironhead. Running laterally, he'll be tackled for a loss on the play. Ironhead is tackled by Dave Butler, who did a good job of containment that time, and Ironhead couldn't turn it upfield as he ran it on the short side sweep to the boundary. 7:50 remaining 3rd quarter. Notre Dame ahead 6-0, and Pitt now at its own 45 will face a 2nd down and 12.
Pitt's offensive front is going to have more to contend with, because it looks like Notre Dame has come with the theory that they're going to get more aggressive in the front line and bring one man almost all the time.
2nd and 12. Chuck Scales heads to the Panthers sideline. Michael Stewart now split to the left side. Single setback offense for the Panthers. Osborne in motion back toward the short side. Kangemi back. Steps up into the pocket. Has trouble. Is in the grasp. Throws a pass complete. Here comes Tommy Brown to the 45, the 50, and he's tackled as he gets into Notre Dame territory to the 47-yard line by linebacker Mike Kovaleski. In professional football, that play would not have stood because somebody had a hold of John Kangemi. Wally Klein or Mike Griffin, one of the two, had him in the grasp, and Kangemi, alertly dumping the ball, turned the sack into a plus, but it's still 3rd down and about 4.
Picked up enough, however, if they don't make this, to kick the ball and eventually and finally get field position on the Notre Dame offensive unit. However, they got a chance to pick up this 4. It'll be interesting. I look for something with a flare or a short route.
3rd and a long 3 for the Panthers at the Notre Dame 47. Again, single setback. Wing back left is Tinsley in motion to the right. Kangemi back. Here's the blitz. He rolls right, fires a pass. It's complete. Osborne wide open, 1st down. He sidesteps him out at the 40, the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20. Osborne a block at the 15 and is upended as he goes right over the block by Chuck Scales at the 10-yard line. They say he was out back at the 16. Scales through the block, but Osborne had plenty of room to ramble. They tried to cover him, and they could not. Brandy Wells, the strong safety, couldn't catch up with him, and finally Troy Wilson came up, fought off the block by Scales, and got the trip tackle at the 16-yard line.
Notre Dame came with everybody but the Golden Dome on the last play, and they were able to throw the short dump and run with the ball after the catch. The blitz was well conceived, but they threw the ball quickly and Pitt was able to move it on that last play.
31-yard pass play. Kangemi to Osborne. Pitt 1st and 10 at the 16, trailing 6-0. Motion by the fullback, Tom Brown. Kangemi back. Fires a pass over the middle again. Osborne this time is tackled as he gets to the 8-yard line. Osborne pulling in the pass sure-handedly is tackled by strong safety Brandy Wells, who this time caught up with him. It's a gain of about 7 yards. They're putting it down at the 9. We'll call it 2nd down and 3. Now, Tony Mason, you're inside the 10-yard line. You're not on the board yet. You've got a play to waste. We really don't have a play to waste, but you're 2nd and 3. What do you do?
I give the ball to either Ironhead or Brown, but because he's not in the game, I'm going to have to throw it on a swing back and try to get the ball after the catch into the end zone.
And Mike Gottfried agrees. He comes with the jumbo backfield of Tom Brown, Ironhead Hayward, and Matt Lavinia. 2nd and 3 at the 9. It's time to pound away if you can, especially when you're not on the scoreboard yet. Ironhead tries to leap a man, and he is turned completely in the air on a somerset tackle, and that player is down. Jeff Coons knocked him over, and Jeff Coons is motionless at the 9-yard line, trying to deal with that head of steam called Craig Ironhead Hayward.
Dumbo jump and hit him.
And he spun forward for about maybe 2 yards to the 7. But Coons is the injured player, and I hope he's going to be okay. At 6:03 left 3rd quarter, Pitt trailing 6-0. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
Excitement 87, here now at your Greater Pittsburgh Pontiac dealers. The all-new Bonneville, so unique it's America's only full-size sports sedan. Grandeur, destined to be GM's fastest-selling car again this year. Pontiac 6000, more world-class refinements than ever. Fiero, new styling and power. Sunbird, more value than ever. Firebird, more models, more thrills for everyone. See the 87s now at your Greater Pittsburgh Pontiac dealers.
Jim Harrington, yours with music and money. Weekdays 9 to noon on Radio 1250 WTAE.
6-0 Notre Dame with the lead. 3rd quarter, 6:03 left. The injured player for the Fighting Irish is Jeff Coons, a junior defensive tackle from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, 6'6", 252, and he tried to tackle Ironhead Hayward and is still motionless at the 9-yard line. He got Hayward's legs, and Hayward did a somersault over top for 2 yards to the 7, but Coons still has not moved, and the Irish training corps is out there with 6:03 left 3rd quarter.
He's moving now. I hope he's all right. I think he'll be all right. He got kicked right in the head by Ironhead, and that's by getting kicked by quite a bigger. You know, Dumbo's not small. That kid's not small either, thank heavens.
Craig Hayward, what an unbelievable physique. And when you talk about somebody who's thick-legged, his thighs are like oak trees. And I've used that expression before with people like Earl Campbell, but his thighs are bigger than Campbell's.
Yeah, they're huge thighs. I got to run Ironhead 2 more times right at the line of scrimmage to get the first and then play around.
3rd and about 1.5 yards, almost 2 yards, but they're calling it 1 on the scoreboard, but it is about 1.5 yards to go. Coons is up and in a seated position right now, and now they're going to get him up on his feet. He's okay. Wobbly, but okay. And they're talking to him. I'm sure, Tony, what they're asking him is questions like, you know who you are and what day it is and where we are standing. You hear the crowd responding very positively. 3rd down and 1.5 yards. Pitt trailing 6-0 at the Notre Dame 7-yard line. Pitt with a power formation. Brown, Hayward, Lavinia, all fullback types. Kangemi checking with official Bill McDonald, who signals ready to go. Kangemi steps into the huddle and makes sure that everybody knows the play. 2 tight ends, Hubner and Kirk. Power formation. 3rd and 1.5 yards. Kangemi takes, pitches it back to Ironhead, turns it upfield at the 5, got the first down to the 3, the 2, and they finally stop the freight train at the 2-yard line. Craig Hayward, the Panther, 1st and goal at the 2. And I mean to tell you, he was not to be denied. People were hanging on him, and he was just saying, hey, we're going for a ride.
The call was good because they ganged up inside with the jumbo backfield, and then Notre Dame thought it was coming right at him. When they tossed the ball on the sweep, Ironhead was able to find a little crease, and once he turns that body upfield, he's going to make it crack. 3 more times with Ironhead.
It was a short pitch. Kovalevsky and Pritchett made the tackle. Pitt 1st and goal at the 2-yard line. Single setback, motion by Brown, the give to Hayward. Hayward leans in there, spins, twists, twirls, and gets down to the goal line. He almost got in, but he's about 6 inches short of the goal line. It'll be 2nd down and goal. Now you talk about a man who's light on his feet. Instead of going in there with head down, Hayward got spun, and all of a sudden, what great balance the man has. It's incredible. He was still on his feet as they got him to the goal line. Many backs would have been tripped right at the line of scrimmage.
He did a fine job. Kangemi just walked over to the sideline and talked to Coach Gottfried, so they're going to have to make a quick call here. Time's moving on the clock.
2 tight ends, split backs behind Kangemi. 2nd down and goal from the 1. And into the end zone comes John Kangemi on the quarterback sneak for the Pitt touchdown. The first touchdown of this football game. He went behind the center, and in this case, that is Chip Bakauskas, the junior walk-on from North Allegheny High School. And there was enough lean, enough machine, enough energy to allow Kangemi to cross the goal line, and the Panthers are on the board. And now the all-important extra point is coming up. Jeff Van Horn out of the hold by Kangemi. The game is tied at 6-6, 4:47 left of the 3rd quarter. And Osborne trying to untie it. Snap is on the tee. The kick is up, and the kick by Van Horn, the freshman, is good. And the Panthers take the lead 7-6. We're in the 3rd quarter with 4:47 left. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
Pitt Panther football. You're in for a game. That's right. You're in for a game with Pitt football, and 2 great home games are coming up at Pitt Stadium. Saturday, October 25th, Navy comes to Pittsburgh for a special bicentennial homecoming game. Then Saturday, November 8th, it's the big game of the year with powerful Miami and Heisman Trophy favorite quarterback Vinny Testaverde. Order tickets at any Pittsburgh National Bank or call the Pitt ticket office and order by phone. You're in for a game with Panther football. Don't miss out on this season's excitement. I'm Larry Richard with music, information, and money weekdays 3 to 6 on Radio 1250 WTAE.
Jeff Van Horn, extra point, and the kick is up and good, and it's 7-6 the Panthers. His extra point unsnaps the tie. Kangemi set it up with a touchdown. The Panthers driving it 83 yards in 14 plays. A masterwork of a drive kept alive by Billy Osborne's catching, Ironhead's running, and good blocking up front, and Kangemi's good field leadership. It was a team effort.
It was a great effort. Don't forget Stewart's catch. I thought that was critical, the way he caught the ball. It was such a fine catch. Notre Dame, this is going to be important to me, watching what Lou Holtz will call now. He has been putting 2 hands on the ball, running into the middle of the line, and using very, very conservative plays. If he opens up, will it be dangerous to Notre Dame, or will it be something that'll move them? We'll see.
Tony, it's a big swing in the football game because Pitt gets 17 points driving at 83 yards, and you have a tendency to forget that it was set up with an interception on a tip by Grossman. You take away points that Notre Dame does not get, and you add the points that Pitt does get, and it's a big swing in a football game.
I just got a fourth quarter score. Cincinnati 17, Penn State 14.
Wow, at Beaver Stadium. 4:47 left.
There's a
here at South Bend.
There's a lot of temples in this world.
The 30-95 rule certainly has manifested itself in college football. Van Horn's kickoff, angling Brown back to his own 1-yard line to the left side, out behind the wedge at the 5, the 10, across the field at the 15, through the crack at the 20, but he's upset on a fine tackle across the field at the 23-yard line. Pinching in there to do the job for the Panthers is
First down, Irish at the 24.
James Turner, a linebacker for Pitt. Making the play. Turner at 6'2", 220, the junior from Las Vegas, a junior college transfer, did a good job of tackling Tim Brown. Kajemi 15 of 32 for 195 yards.
Will the first play be up the middle?
Notre Dame first and 10 from their own 24-yard line, trailing 7-6. Up Burline. Slip screen out to the side. Timmy Brown is tackled immediately. He'll take a loss on the play. Good job by Quentin Jones. Quentin Jones came up and met Brown. Brown trying to step in behind a block, and the block up front was by the other wideout, and it didn't work, and Quentin Jones got in there to make a stop on the play for a loss of a yard at 2nd down 11.
Bill, that was one of the few times that Notre Dame came out on the first down and did not run the ball. So, yes, they are going to open it up somewhat because that was a wide screen with a corner block.
2nd down 11, Notre Dame at its own 23. 4:06 third quarter, Notre Dame trailing 7-6. Burline takes. Play action fake, he's back. Rolling left, being chased. Gets out of there at the 10, throws the ball downfield and throws it away. Markers down back at the 12-yard line. Let's see if this is against Notre Dame. Referee Bill McDonald, who threw the flag, says clipping against the Irish. This will go half the distance. From the 23, actually from the spot of the infraction, which is the 12, it'll go back to the 6, I believe.
I'm not saying.
Okay,
let's
see what they decide.
Yeah, I don't know what to call. The clip was called.
Previous spot is the 23. Now let's see what McDonald decides to do as he discussions the options with the Panthers captain, Steve Apke, defensively, along with Walter Johnson, who's involved in the discussion. And here comes a man across the field, in this case the line judge, to join the discussion. Anthony Siragusa is signaling to the Pitt bench, but I don't know what he signaled. Trying to let Mike Gottfried and the staff know exactly what the conversation's all about. 3:56 left third quarter. Pitt ahead 7-6. Thanks to an 83-yard drive in 14 plays, capped by Kajemi sneak and Van Horn's extra point good. And let's see what McDonald does after coming to the near sideline to talk to Jim Klingensmith, who is the side judge. Markoff from the previous spot, the 23, will be half the distance to the, call it the 12-yard line, and that's exactly where the flag was thrown. So in this case, for clipping, Mark Green, we understand, the tailback for Notre Dame, has a bruised thigh. Alonzo Jefferson is in there now as the tailback. So on the clip, Notre Dame is back to its own 12-yard line, called 2nd down and 22. They're calling it the 11-yard line on the PA. 12 on the scoreboard. We'll go with 12. Burline is back at his own goal line. Dumps a pass, near sideline complete to Jefferson, and he steps out of one tackle, but the second wave is there to get him. Stepped out of the tackle by Darrell Woods, but both Olszewski and Jones came up to make the stop. Knocked him out of bounds after a loss of the play of 1 yard, and now the punt team is on 3rd and 22. Sorensen is in there. Are they going to punt on 3rd down?
I would be so surprised I might faint. I don't believe they will.
They're calling it 3rd and 24 on the scoreboard. Sorensen is back there 10 yards deep. Burline steps up under center. They go back through his leg. Sorensen will quick kick it away. The Panthers have Terrell Austin ranging back at his own 47. Takes, sidesteps a man, comes to the near side at the 45, and puts his head down and will be tackled out of bounds at the 47-yard line of Pitt. Notre Dame quick kicking. Andy Heck made the tackle on Terrell Austin, and the Panthers have great field position and a 1-point lead with 3:37 left of the third quarter.
There's concern on the part of the Notre Dame offense when they kick on 3rd down at that field position, which was not backed up. there's a concern that you and I don't know about or the fans don't, because they don't have a way of getting a big play. They're going to throw some. They'll have to. But right now, I'm wondering why they would quick kick from that position on a beautiful day with a situation with one good play. They get a better punt. Right now, you got field position for Pitt, but Notre Dame has a reason. I'm not second guessing Lou. He had something going.
Now you're up 7-6 instead of trailing and wondering about whether you're ever going to score. Now that the monkey's off your back, does Mike Gottfried open things up, or does he dance with them what has brung him?
If he opens it up, the stadium will fall underneath the ground. He's been open up all day.
So in other words,
he's going to stay wide. No, he'll stay wide.
That has brought him to this point.
Oh, yeah,
he 7-6 lead.
Yeah, he doesn't know what a closed throttle is. He has no idea. His offense can't be, it has to stay open. That's what it is.
But he is not to be confused with a riverboat gambler, is he not?
No, everything is prearranged. All these guys are running great routes. He has possession cuts, which we described last week, which is a short route thrown as if it were run out there. He has the long route. He has the swing routes. And then he gives the ball to Ironhead to keep you honest.
Pitt moving right to left third quarter, which has 3:37 left. Excellent field position. 1st and 10 at their own 47. Split backs behind John Kangemi. Twins to the right. Kangemi back in a short pocket pass near sideline, complete to Stewart, and he steps out of bounds after an advance to the Notre Dame 44-yard line. Michael Stewart is knocked out by Marv Spence, the cornerback. Great thing about that play was the fact that Kangemi looked right and threw it left against the grain.
It was a possession cut. It wasn't designed to get more than 8 to 9 yards. Once he got it, have you noticed the improvement on Stewart in one quarter because of a catch? When he made that great catch, he's gained a lot of confidence.
Go back a little bit farther. He got racked up on that one play, and he's been a dynamo ever since.
Rattled something.
2nd and 1. Pitt at the Notre Dame 44. Pitt leading 7-6. Late stages, third quarter, 3.5 remaining. The give is to fullback Tom Brown, and he's going to be stopped for a loss as Notre Dame's defensive tackle Wally Klein, a great one, is in there to make the tackle. Stopped him for a 2-yard loss back at the 46. They're going to get him forward progress to the 45. It'll be 3rd down and 2 now as we pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Panthers Football Network.
Westinghouse, 120,000 employees around the world, dedicated to quality and excellence. 1250 WTAE, Pittsburgh.
Pitt 3rd down and 2 at the Notre Dame 45. Pitt leading 7-6. Kangemi steps in. Wing back left is Tinsley in motion to the right. Kangemi is going to throw it on 3rd and 2. Back pass complete, pulled in, and a first down is made by Billy Osborne on a great play across the field. A man hanging on to one ankle. Osborne at the same time grabbed the football, spun and made sure that he made the sticks, but he already had them made and gets the first down at the Notre Dame 41-yard line. Brandy Wells had the hold of Billy Osborne's leg.
That's the same as running the ball when you throw that such a short route for a 3-yard gain in order to make the first down. The last defensive play by Notre Dame was excellent. The tackle made an inside stunt and hit the Pitt back before he took one step.
Tommy Brown lines up as a wide flanker to the right, to the short side. Back to the left to the wide side, 2 receivers. Pitch back to Ironhead. He's going to throw it. Brown is down there. Ironhead will be sacked. And he throws it up for grabs. And it's caught by Notre Dame. Now, was he out of bounds when he threw it? Yes, he was out of bounds at the Notre Dame 46-yard line when he threw the football. Ironhead, and I could see the play set up beautifully. Wally Klein was the man who tackled Ironhead Hayward. But Tommy Brown had trouble getting around his man. He stumbled. But if he stays on his feet from that wide flanker spot to the short side, he's gone. It's the same type of deal that the Panthers used against West Virginia with great success. This time it loses yardage back to the Notre Dame 46-yard line. It's a 5-yard loss. It'll be 2nd down and 15. The important thing is that Ironhead's would-be interception was nullified by the fact that he threw it from a position on the Pitt bench. Ironhead is sacked. How many times is that going to happen in a football game? Here comes Kangemi. Lots of pressure, and he throws it. It's batted incomplete. Kangemi ran for his life, being chased from the backside by Wally Klein and Darrell Gordon from the outside of the defensive end. And Kangemi did a good job just to unload the football and get Notre Dame to bat it incomplete. 3rd down and 15. Now what do you do at Notre Dame's 46?
That was a poor play. It was supposed to be a screen. However, they let the entire team in, and the men blocking left their men in too soon. Kangemi was forced before he could fake. It was not well executed. In fact, it was poorly executed. Notre Dame had the upper hand on that particular play.
Notre Dame trails at 7-6. The Panthers with a lead and the ball, facing a 3rd and 15 at the 46 of Notre Dame. 1:35 left third quarter. Kajemi with a lone setback is back. Steps up into the pocket. Fires a pass downfield. Wide open and caught for the first down. Is Chuck Scales. Gets around one man. Not tackled it. He crosses the 20 and gets to the 19-yard line. What a move by Chuck Scales, but what a great job by Kajemi to wait until his man was open. And what a great job of protection up front.
The offensive line gave him all the protection he needed. Pitt that time settled and blocked solid, and Notre Dame did not blitz. Consequently, it took longer for the play to develop, and when Scales came open, he had good yardage downfield.
28 yards on the play for Scales to the Notre Dame 18. Pitt with a 1st and 10, wide side of the field to the left. Kajemi with double wings. One of those, Osborne in motion to the wide side, the left side, 1st and 10 at the 18. Kajemi back. Kajemi plants, fires a long pass near sideline, complete to Osborne at the 20, the 15. He's got a first down as he gets inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. He is short of first down yardage by maybe a half yard. It'll be 2nd down and inches. Brandy Wells knocked him out of bounds as he crossed the 10 and got to the 9. 9-yard gain. It'll be officially 2nd down and 1.
They're throwing deep, then short. Deep, then short. Now they're going to toss the ball and make the run. It's a gamble down, but I'd still go after him, Mike.
I think with a 1-point lead, 1:18 left of the quarter, I think you run the football here, but they don't show a running set.
No,
Panthers with a 2nd and 1 at the 9-yard line. Gladman has to be redeployed in a wide slot right, double slot to that side. Osborne in motion. Reverse motion back to the wide side. Kajemi takes. Rolling. Stops. Plants. Fires. Complete. Osborne pulls it in at the 5. First down to the 4-yard line. Billy Osborne has just played magnificent football. He is tackled, hit hard on the play by Mike Kovaleski, the inside linebacker, but not before he gains 5 yards. Now make it 4 yards to the 5-yard line, where Pitt now has a 1st and goal.
Osborne really took a hit. The kid's playing good football. They threw again the short route as if it were a run, and Osborne really got hit.
Osborne looks the ball in very well, does he?
I'll say he does.
Ball at the 5-yard line.
Here comes
1st and goal at the 5, and the Panthers now with Ironhead as a lone setback. Motion by Brown, the other fullback, in behind the motion. Ironhead is upset as he gets to the 4-yard line for 1 yard. That's all. Nice tackle on the play on the far side of the field. A play that in many respects looked like that play earlier where Ironhead got into the goal line. It was not a toss sweep this time. It was just a handoff, but he followed the power blocking of Brown. And they're calling it no gain on the scoreboard, but we call it a 1-yard gain. Dave Butler made the tackle.
They're running right. Do you notice on short yardage situations, it's obvious that the men in the booth for Pitt has found a weakness on Notre Dame's left side, if that's what you call it. And they've been running to their right side, to Pitt's right side.
2nd and goal just inside the 5. Osborne in motion to the left, the wide side. Jimmy back, looks, fires for the end zone, and the pass is behind the receiver, intended in the end zone for Billy Osborne, who was in motion to the left and came back to the right to run the pattern. Jimmy threw it in behind him. Incomplete. 3rd and goal from the 5-yard line. Billy Osborne, 8 receptions, 94 yards. Notre Dame has been using Jeff Alm, a defensive end, as a tackle, and the Panthers seem to be taking advantage of the fact that the defensive end is trying to play inside. Let's see what Kajemi does on 3rd and goal from inside the 5. Motion by Osborne. Single set back to the wide side. Kajemi turns, gives it to Ironhead. He fights his way down to the 1-yard line, and now Pitt will have a 4th and goal from less than a yard away. And it's decision time. 3 seconds left of the quarter. 2 seconds, 1 second. That'll end the third quarter. Let's see what Mike Godfrey decides to do. That's the end of the third quarter here at South Bend with a score. Pitt 7, Notre Dame 6.
Crowds have gone. Prices have dropped. There's no better time to fall for the Caribbean. For coves so utterly secluded, there's no one to utter a sound. For native rum punch to accent your seaside lunch. For a lobster croquette dinner with lobster fresh from the same sea. Eastern Airlines flies to 18 destinations in this paradise and offers a selection of fall vacation packages that are likewise easy to fall for. For instance, you can spend 4 days, 3 nights in San Juan for $419, or Martinique for $389, or Barbados for $409, or the Bahamas for $279. All prices are per person, double occupancy, and include airfare and hotel. Meals, gratuities, and taxes not included. Reservations, 14-day advance purchase, and other restrictions apply. Eastern has some incredibly affordable 8-day, 7-night vacations for you to choose from as well. Call your travel agent or Eastern for complete details. They'll help you plan a romantic fall escape to the Caribbean or the Bahamas.
Susie Barber, I'm right here where you can find me noon until 3 on Radio 1250 WTAE.
As we start the fourth quarter, Pitt now facing a 4th and goal from inside the 1-yard line. They switch ends. Now Pitt will try to run it left to right here. And Mike Gottfried has decided to go for it on 4th and about 1. It is 4th and a true 1 yard at the Notre Dame 1-yard line.
I look for Dumbo up over the top, right at him.
Could you be speaking of Craig Hayward?
I do.
Kenjemi, late arriving from the sideline, steps in and delivers the play in the huddle. Notre Dame making a change defensively in their backfield.
Is that Gladman in the game? Gladman's going over the top.
Is somebody going to go over the top?
I'll tell you what, it's either me or Gladman over the top.
2 tight ends, Vernon Kirk and Tom Hubner. Referee William McDonald has not given the ready for play, so he's just going to wait until it's time to crank it up. A big play in the football game. Pitt leading 7-6. First play of the fourth quarter. Notre Dame bunched up at the goal line trying to keep the Panthers out. Pitt, at this point, apparently spurning the field goal opportunity, which would give them a 4-point lead. The Panthers want the whole ball of wax.
Here's the figure on it. If you make it, you got a good lead. If you don't make it, they have to go 99 yards.
Something that they have not shown that they've got the capability of doing in this football game against the Pitt defense. Here we go. High formation behind Kenjemi. 4th down and goal from the 1. Kenjemi takes. The give is to Gladman. He goes up, and he goes to the goal line. And that's all. He did not get in. Notre Dame holds, and the Irish have the football at about the half-yard line. Nose guard Mike Griffin, Tom Gorman, a defensive tackle, and Wally Klein kept Gladman out of the end zone. Notre Dame holds at the 1-yard line.
What will that do to the confidence and morale of Pitt? That's what you worry about now. They got to stay upbeat. They still have him pinned into the end zone. Notre Dame still has to get the ball out. It was a great effort, but Notre Dame rose to the occasion.
Jeff Alm is being given credit for making the hit that kept Gladman out of the end zone. And so Notre Dame trailing 7-6 has a 1st and 10 just inside their own 1-yard line. It's close to the goal line. Burline back, throwing on 1st down, complete with the football. Milt Jackson, and he's hit hard by about 5 Panthers and knocked out of bounds out near the 7 or the 8-yard line. Gary Richard made the initial hit.
That was a gutty call. It was a short stop. It was a safe pass, but it got him out of danger zone. Notre Dame is in position now to open up their offense a little more.
14:33 remaining. 7-6, the Panthers have the lead. Burline, 10 for 15, passing for 73 yards, 1 interception. Notre Dame has not been in the end zone all day. They have 2 field goals from Carney. But now they're out to the 8-yard line. And the give off the right side for no yardage at all is to fullback Pernell Taylor. The Panther defense had him surrounded completely. And he is stopped on the play. Good job by middle linebacker Jerry Olsovsky to plug the gap. 14 minutes exactly remaining of this game. Ball at the 9-yard line. We'll call it 3rd down. Notre Dame with 1 to go, and it's a long one.
3rd down and 1.
3rd down and 1, Notre Dame at its own 9-yard line. Panthers go in offside. Siragusa came in across the line of scrimmage. The question is now, did Notre Dame move? Did number 65 move for Notre Dame? Left guard Tom Freeman. Referee Bill McDonald steps in and sorts it out. The indication is illegal procedure against the Irish. So instead of 3rd and 1, it'll be 3rd and 6.
That was a very serious mistake on Notre Dame's part. I imagine the poor young man that went offside was so intent on blocking because they were going up the middle that he left just prior to the count. They're going to have to change their call, and Coach Holtz just sent in another shuttle man to make a new call. They're going to have to throw the ball quickly. A quick out.
Ball is spotted back inside the 5 at the 4-yard line, where Notre Dame now faces a 3rd down and 6. Milt Jackson, the only wideout, out to the right side. Covered there by Quentin Jones. Burline takes a handoff back in the end zone, going to throw it deep down over the middle, and it will be incomplete. He overthrew a streaking Milt Jackson out near the 45-yard line. The Pitt defense is held, and now Notre Dame has to punt it from their own 4-yard line.
Gutsy call. He was going for all the marbles, but the ball was overthrown. He wasn't near anyone. It couldn't have been caught. Pitt will have good field position after this punt.
John Griep is the long snapper out over the ball. Back near his end line is punter Dan Sorensen, a senior from Long Lake, Minnesota. Panthers lead it 7-6. Apparently we'll get the ball back here. Snap is true. Sorensen has the kick away. It's going to be short. Osborne lets it bounce, and it's going to take a big Notre Dame bounce across midfield. Osborne goes back, picks it up at his own 35, puts his head down, and will be tackled at the 37-yard line, and that's where the Panthers will have it 1st and 10. So a big punt by Sorensen that Osborne allowed to bounce in front of him. Gives Notre Dame a break, but the Panthers have the football in a 1-point lead. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
How exciting is the all-new 1987 Bonneville? Let Motor Trend magazine tell you.
The 87 Bonneville SE, as first class as any automobile in its class on the world scene today.
High praise from automotive experts, but no wonder. Your Greater Pittsburgh Pontiac dealers' all-new Bonnevilles are the only full-size sports sedans built in America. So uniquely different from other GM cars, you'll be amazed that Bonneville's sticker price is hundreds less than Buick LeSabre and Olds Delta 88. Go first class. See your Greater Pittsburgh Pontiac dealers now.
All the college football scores tonight at 6 and 11 on Channel 4.
A 61-yard punt by Irish punter Dan Sorensen that Billy Osborne allowed to bounce in front of him. It rolled more than 20 yards. Gives Pitt a 1st and 10 at its own 37. 13:05 left in the football game. The Panthers with the barest of leads, 7-6.
That was a critical bounce. Allowing the ball to bounce as it did, it took away 2 first downs from Pitt, which means Pitt, instead of being upfield on the other side of the 50, are 10 yards or 12 yards behind the 50 where they shouldn't be. They should have caught the football on that punt.
John Kinjemi after a sideline conference with Coach Mike Gottfried, who's on the headset to the Panther offensive coaching staff, which is in the booth next to us. Receiver coach Steve Corey is in there with quarterback coach Mike Dickens. Defensively, the Panthers have Frank DeLonzo helping to call the plays along with Larry Janoff. Pitt now with a 1st and 10 at its own 37. Single setback. Kinjemi surveys the field and steps in. Osborne in motion. Reverse motion back to the right side. And Kinjemi is back. Looks. Now pressure, now the sack. And he is dragged back. Forward progress to the 29. That'll be a loss of 8 yards. Tom Gorman with a big defensive play for the Irish that sacks John Kinjemi back at the 29-yard line.
Credit Notre Dame's secondary for that coverage, for that sack. Everybody was covered like a blanket. Kinjemi could not find anybody open. He had to tuck the ball and take the hit.
2nd down and 18 now. The Panthers from their own 29. Their line to gain is their own 47. Michael Stewart lines up to the boundary left. To the boundary right is Chuck Scales. Back is Kinjemi. Pass is complete to Stewart. Gains 8, gains 10, gains 11 yards out to the 40-yard line where he's tackled by Troy Wilson. It'll be 3rd down and about 7 for the Panthers out at their own 40-yard line.
Fine call. That sack really hurt them, but that was a good call. They threw in the center of the zone that time. It looks like Notre Dame is going to go not with the blitz as much as it's going with the coverages and a 4-man rush.
3rd down and 7. The Panthers at their own 40. 11:50 remaining. Pitt leading 7-6 with a 3rd and 7. Kinjemi is back. Looking, firing, complete. 1st down, Michael Stewart turns it upfield and gets a little more, crossing the 50 and getting to the 48 of Notre Dame. Now we've got a couple of people getting kind of a little joy with each other. One of the Panther offensive linemen jawing away with a Notre Dame defensive player. I believe that's Mark Stepnoski getting into it.
1st down.
And everything's okay. Mets defeated Houston 6-5 on Lenny Dykstra's home run.
Notre Dame.
Really?
48.
Sounds like you might be rooting for the Astros.
No, I'm not really a baseball fan, and I'd rather watch 2 guys fish.
You got to be a little more vocal about it, a little more, less wishy-washy about your opinions on other sports. 1st and 10, the Panthers at the Notre Dame 48. Big catch by Michael Stewart. He's made a couple of those today. Back is Kinjemi, going to air it out downfield. Chuck Scales streaking, but he's going to dive for a football that is 5 yards beyond him. Scales had beaten the coverage of cornerback Troy Wilson. It was a good play call, and Scales had gotten around him, except John Kijemi had a little too much mustard on it, and Scales could only dive and come up empty.
That was as much to scare them deep as it was to try to get a touchdown. He wanted to loosen up that secondary. And really, I do like baseball. I just like to say that once in a while.
For effect.
For effect. But I
comedic
really
effect.
And I am for Houston.
11:35. Well, you live in the West, so you would naturally root for the Western Division. 2nd and 10 at the 48. But as a football coach, you don't like East and West, do you? Nope, except if you're coaching defense. Passes into and out of the hands of Darren Gillespie, the Notre Dame 43-yard line. Kijemi threw it and threw it well. Gillespie did everything but catch the football. The freshman from Dallas, Texas. Now it's 3rd down and 10. Pitt at the Notre Dame 48. 11:30 left. A lot of time. Pitt with a barest of leads, 7-6. Kijemi scoring the only touchdown in this football game on a quarterback sneak. Panthers have come up with a couple big plays in this drive to try to overcome the sack. Stewart picked up 11 yards and then 12 for a first down. Now it's 3rd and 10. Stewart lines up to the short side, the left side. Tinsley in motion to overload the right. Kijemi back, the blitz. He wheels out of there, slips and falls back at his own 38-yard line. Was trying to duck the rush and just slipped and fell. And is he okay? Yep, John's going to be okay. Pinned down there by Matt Dingens and Tom Gorman, a defensive tackle and nose guard respectively. Notre Dame's going to get the football back here as John Raft comes on the field in punt formation for the Panthers.
It was a full blitz. They all came.
Loss of 10 yards, 4th and 20. Pitt from its own 38 in punt formation. Snap is true. Raft has time and kicks it. It's low and short. It's going to hit inside the 30-yard line, taking a Pitt bounce to about the 35. Pitt rolls it, lets it roll dead at the 33-yard line, and that's where Notre Dame will start. 1st and 10 at their own 33. 7-6. The Panthers have the lead. The Irish have the football. 10:49 left. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back.
Cameron Coca-Cola has produced 4 special bicentennial cans for Pitt's 200th birthday. Collect all 4 with Coke, Classic Coke, Sprite, and Cherry Coke.
Coca-Cola Classic, red, white, and you. Red, white, and you. Red, white, and you.
Jim Harrington with the Super Gold Countdown weekdays at 11:05 on Radio 1250 WTAE.
John Raft punts, rolls dead at the 23-yard line of Notre Dame. So Raft does the job getting the football down in Notre Dame's end, and the Irish have a 1st and 10 at their own 23. But if you're a Pitt fan, you're concerned about the fact that the Panthers came up empty, turned the ball over at the 1-yard line, and now are going to have to battle to try to protect the slimmest lead you can have, 1 point. We have 10:49 remaining.
Please report to the first aid station, which is located in.
Drop footballs have been a problem for the Panthers this afternoon.
A lot of them. However, you know, Notre Dame has dropped some too. Both sides are dropping the ball.
Notre Dame with Berline at the helm. 1st and 10 at their own 23-yard line. Berline brings him to the line of scrimmage. Sets him up in an I formation. Slot left. Play action fake Berline. Going to throw it. Throws it downfield and it will be caught. Timmy Brown with the football. First down out to the 46-yard line. Tim Brown pulled it in and got it to the 47. That will be a 23-yard gain. They're going to spot it at the 46. First down Notre Dame.
Berline stayed in the pocket with a lot of pressure. The young man waited until Brown came open, but it was a great catch by Brown that made the ball move upfield.
He's tackled at the 46-yard line. Billy Owens and Quentin Jones made the stop. Berline brings him up to the line of scrimmage. His team trailing 7-6. 10:28 remaining. 1st and 10 at his own 46. High slot left again. This time the give is to the tailback, and Jefferson has nowhere to go. Alonzo Jefferson is hit after an advance of 1 yard along the line of scrimmage by Bert Grossman. And Grossman playing a fine game. The 6'5", 245-pound sophomore from Bella Kinwood, Pennsylvania.
2nd and 9.
Grossman has done a good job stat-wise this year so far, too. Right behind Tony Woods with 4 sacks, 5 tackles for a loss coming into this game. And Anthony Johnson now in at tailback as Notre Dame faces a 2nd down and 9 at their own 47-yard line, trailing 7-6, 9:50 left. Berline takes the ball back on the option, pitches it back to outfield. Here comes Anthony Johnson, and he's got the first down as he crosses the Pitt 45 and is knocked out of bounds when he gets to the 39-yard line. Anthony Johnson, as Berline executed the option play to the left side, the wide side beautifully. Darrell Woods and Gary Richard drove him out.
It was a close call. Berline pitched just as he got hit, which was perfect timing by the Notre Dame quarterback. The corner for Pitt did not get up fast enough to contain the ball. That's why the long yardage.
Bankston Banks is in there at the fullback now. 1st and 10 Notre Dame at the Pitt 39. And the give is to the fullback Banks, and he fights his way into the 35-yard line for 4 yards, where Tony Woods made the tackle on the play. Clock winds to 9:33. Notre Dame trailing 7-6 has driven it from their own 23 down to the Pitt 39 to the 35-yard line, where Notre Dame now faces a 2nd down and 6. Alonzo Jefferson now the tailback for Notre Dame. And he dots the I. 2nd down and 6. The Irish at the Pitt 35. I slot right. The give is to the fullback, and with the football is Pernell Taylor, and he gets close to first down yardage as he dives to about the 30-yard line where Steve Apke pinned him down. It'll be about a yard short of first down territory. It'll be 3rd down and a short 1. Notre Dame at the Pitt 31-yard line.
Notre Dame's going to keep coming at him until they get to field goal range and play for the 3.
They're calling it the 30-yard line, so it's 3rd and a short 1. Center Chuck Lanza out over the football. Berline, high flanker right, steps in. 3rd and 1. He gives to the fullback, and he's got the first down. Pernell Taylor off the right side, slashed into about the 28-yard line for the Notre Dame first down. Notre Dame now driving the football well within the range of that strong-legged John Carney, their place kicker. And they trail by 1, 7-6, 8:30 remaining. They have a 1st and 10 at the Pitt 28.
Again, I believe they'll go right at him. They're going to get in position to kick it rather than make a mistake throwing it. And if they do throw it, it's going to go to 6 on a short route.
Panthers cornerbacks are over to check the 2 wideouts to the right. Meantime, Berline gives it to his fullback, and he pounds away, and that is Pernell Taylor. Gets in through a crease to the 25 to the 23-yard line, tackled by Tony Woods. 5-yard gain, 2nd down and 5. Notre Dame pounding away now at the Panther defense.
2nd and 6.
They're moving the ball exactly as they want to. Enough chunks that no one can come up in a stunning defense, and Pitt has got the layback waiting for a quick pass. So right now the upper hand is in the hands of Notre Dame.
2nd and 6 now. Notre Dame at the Pitt 24. Wishbone with a split end right. Berline steps in. Panthers stunting. Berline takes on the crossbuck. The give is to Timmy Brown, and Timmy Brown gets into about the 21-yard line where he's racked up on the play and knocked back. And it is Anthony Siragusa and Steve Apke and Bert Grossman making the tackle on the play. But his forward progress got him in the vicinity of the 22-yard line, and that'll set up a 3rd down. He's got to get to almost the 18. It'll be 3rd and a short 4.
3rd and 4 at the 22.
Notre Dame at the Pitt 22-yard line. 7:06. Clock turns. Pitt ahead 7-6, but the Irish threatening. They set up in that full house backfield, a wishbone, behind Steve Berline with Milt Jackson, the split end right. Quick count, rolling right. Berline firing a little dump pass, and is complete to Timmy Brown. He's got the first down inside the 15 to the 12-yard line. Timmy Brown coming out of that wishbone attack, and they dumped in that little off pass. Quentin Jones forced him out of bounds at the 12, a gain of 10. Notre Dame 1st and 10.
A safe, well-designed pass by Notre Dame, a flood route, and it's something that I think Pitt knew was coming, could do nothing about it because they've been running the ball so effectively inside.
Notre Dame mixing it up well, and the Panthers that time gave him the first down with a 10-yard pickup by Brown, who now lines up as a spread end left, picked up by Gary Richard. Notre Dame 1st and 10 at the Pitt 12. Notre Dame trailing by 1 with 6:50 left. They give us to the fullback. Pernell Taylor still on his feet, gets inside the 10, is being pounded around to about the 9-yard line. Anthony Siragusa given credit for the stop. He picked up 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Clock winds to 6:37.
The longer they take on this drive, the better advantage Notre Dame is picking up. Whether they score or not, it's taking away from Pitt's opportunity to recover if they should kick a field goal.
Hiawatha Francisco, a tailback, is in there as Notre Dame faces a 2nd and 7 at the Pitt 9-yard line. Again, the Irish line up in the wishbone. Berline steps in, 2 tight ends. Berline takes, pitches it back, power sweep to the left side. And it is Francisco who gets into about the 7-yard line. Hiawatha Francisco gets to the 7, gets 2 yards where linebacker Steve Apke made the stop on the play. And Notre Dame will face a 3rd down and 5 now at the Pitt 7-yard line.
3rd and 5.
Panthers basically did a pretty good job of defending the wide sweep power effort that time.
They strung it out very well and then got upfield on it, but it was a hard run by the Notre Dame back. This is a critical play.
Timmy Brown, the lone wide out to the right. Berline communicates with him. 3rd and 5 at the 7-yard line. Out of the eye. Berline. Notre Dame trailing by 1. Gives to his fullback, and he roars in there to about the 3-yard line, but I believe he'll be short of the sticks. And it'll be 4th and less than 1 as they unpile inside the 5 at the 3-yard line. Anthony Siragusa made the stop. Crowd chanting, go, 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 but Carney is on to try the field goal for Notre Dame on 4th and 1.
So anything they could do, that'll leave just under 5 minutes if they make this for Pitt to recover.
This will be a 20-yard field goal for Carney out of Sorensen's hold. Angle left to right. Ball's on the tee. The kick by Carney is up, and the kick is good, and Notre Dame leapfrogs back on top by a score of 9-7 with 4:49 remaining. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back.
You know, there isn't very much you can buy in the way of a vacation for only $279 unless you call Royal Travel today. Do you know that you could spend a week in Orlando, Florida for only $279? That's the beginning price, and that's based on double occupancy. $279 for a week in Orlando, Florida with everything there is to do there. Orlando for $279 from Royal Travel. Call them today.
Jim Harrington, yours with music and money. Weekdays 9 to noon on Radio 1250 WTAE.
Timeout continues here at South Bend, and we'll be right back.
Right back, America. We're gonna make you smile. Talk at home the way you like it. The Donahue style. Speak your mind. America. America speaks its mind. Speak your mind. America. America speaks its mind on Donahue.
Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Channel 4, WTAE TV.
The fun's in the afternoon with me, Larry Richert, 3 to 6 on Radio 1250 WTAE.
Notre Dame place kicker John Carney on his 3rd field goal of the afternoon gives Notre Dame the lead back at 9-7 with 4:49 left. Each team has 3 timeouts remaining. The Irish with a 2-point lead. Carney's 20-yarder makes it 9-7. And we have 4:49. Let's see if John Kingemi can bring the Panthers down the field like Berline brought Notre Dame down the field. Their field goal drive, 6 minutes, 74 yards in 13 plays. Capped by Carney's 20-yarder. 3rd of the afternoon and 8th of the season. He's 8 for 11. Carney will kick it off. Michael Hadley, deep to receive for Pitt. This driving kick has Hadley chasing it to his own 3, muffs the catch, picks it up, gets to the 5, the 10, the 15, is hit hard at the 15-yard line. On a hard, jarring tackle, Hadley is down at the 15, and the Panthers are 85 yards away. We pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Panthers Football Network.
Westinghouse, 120,000 employees around the world, dedicated to quality and excellence. 1250 WTAE, Pittsburgh.
The Panthers with a 1st and 10 at their own 15-yard line, trailing 9-7, 4:44 remaining. John Kingemi brings them out of the huddle. Single setback. Receivers doubled up on both sides. The crowd very much into things. Osborne in motion. Kingemi takes in his back. 4-man rush by Notre Dame. Kingemi's pass pulled in by Michael Stewart. First down. He had it out at the 30, at the 26-yard line, and they're going to mark it at the 26. It's enough for the Panther first down. Stewart gave maybe a half a yard back and then was hit and knocked backwards, but his forward progress got him barely enough for the first down. Randy Wells on the tackle, the strong safety for the Fighting Irish, but Pitt 1st and 10 at their own 26.
I look for Pitt having to throw the ball quickly because Notre Dame is coming. They're going to blitz so that they don't get time to throw the ball.
Chuck Scales wide out to the right. In the slot is Billy Osborne. Stewart to the left side. Wing back left is Tinsley in motion to overload the right side. Kijemi back, big pressure. He's going to be hit and sacked hard at the 18-yard line. And Kijemi is hurt from the backside. Cedric Figueroa crashing from his defensive end spot, and Kijemi's down at the 18-yard line. I mean, he got hit from the blind side, and you could feel the collision up here. He got it square between the shoulders from Cedric Figueroa. And Kijemi is down and jarred, obviously, very much. And Dr. Freddie Fu, the Pitt physician, is out there to check him.
It was a full blitz, and we expected that. And what happened, though, as they blitzed the middle, they came late with the blitz from the outside. Mike Gottfried's going out on the field now to check Kijemi. He hasn't moved. He was hit hard in the middle of the back, and the young man deserves better than that. But the Notre Dame man really didn't do anything dirty or illegal. He just came through the block and hit him with a good, hard tackle.
John was in the process of trying to duck, but it was too late, and it was reminiscent of the hit that Troy Washington on a safety blitz for Pitt delivered on Burline earlier in the football game. Kijemi is still down and being attended to by the Pitt training corps. Panthers trail at 9-7. They have an injured quarterback. He's sitting up now, 3:57. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
Here's an inflation-fighting tip from Daly's. Buy Daly's fresh fruit-flavored concentrate. 1 gallon mixes with water to give you 6 gallons of good-tasting, low-cost-per-serving fruit drink that's better for you than those carbonated beverages. And there's no sugar needed. So the next time there's a great big thirst around your house, mix up some Daly's concentrate and see what fresh fruit pleasure really is.
There's a Daly's treat for everyone.
Hi, I'm Susie Barber with your choice of oldies weekdays on Radio 1250 WTAE.
Joe Filitsky has come onto the field. The former member of the Fighting Irish transferred to Pitt, and he comes onto the field to take the place of the injured John Kijemi, who trotted off the field under his own power. One would suspect that Kijemi may be back. Meantime, Pitt now with a problem. Having lost yardage back to the 19-yard line on the 7-yard sack, faces a 2nd down and 17 at their own 19. The Panthers trailing 9-7 with 3:57 left. Pitt has all 3 timeouts remaining. So does Notre Dame.
Interesting now to see what call Filitsky will get being in there for the first series. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he throws a short one.
Single setback. Double receivers to both sides. Tinsley in reverse motion back to the left side, which is the short side. Blitz. Filitsky throws. Pass juggled and dropped by Stewart out at the 26-yard line. Couldn't hold on. Coverage by Marv Spence. And Filitsky threw a good enough ball, but Stewart, it's a different sort of ball. It's a different quarterback, and he just didn't engage it right. And it's incomplete. 3rd and 17.
Well thrown by Filitsky, and it should have been caught.
Panthers have had a lot of those this afternoon where 2 hands have been on a football. And here comes Kijemi on the field after 1 play. You're wondering why Sal Janilla or Larry Wonke didn't come on in place of John Kijemi. It's obvious that with 3:41 left in the game that the Panthers want to try to save those red shirts for those 2 quarterbacks. Kijemi's back in there. 3rd and 17 at the 19. He's back. Backside blitz. Dumps a screen pass. Complete. Tinsley with the football. No, and he's guts out to the 30 to the 32-yard line. But it'll be 4th down and about 5 or 6. We've got an injured Panther down, and that is Chris Getz, who's injured at the 30-yard line. Tinsley is given credit for forward progress to the 33. That was 14 yards. So it'll be 4th down and about 4. And the Panther punt team is on the field. 3:12 remaining. Panthers trailing 9-7. Long snapper Bob Sine out over the football. Freshman John Rasp awaiting the punt. Averaged 37 yards a punt in the first half. Snap is true. Rasp has time to kick it away. It's a good spiral. Troy Wilson is back there. Signals for the fair catch and takes it at his own 27-yard line. Notre Dame now in control with a 2-point lead on the football with 2:53 left. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back.
Pitt Panther football. You're in for a game. That's right. You're in for a game with Pitt football, and 2 great home games are coming up at Pitt Stadium Saturday, October 25th. Navy comes to Pittsburgh for a special bicentennial homecoming game. Then Saturday, November 8th, it's the big game of the year with powerful Miami and Heisman Trophy favorite quarterback Vinny Testaverde. Order tickets at any Pittsburgh National Bank or call the Pitt ticket office and order by phone. You're in for a game with Panther football. Don't miss out on this season's excitement.
Susie Nancy Barber. I'm right here where you can find me noon till 3 on Radio 1250 WTAE.
Notre Dame has a lead 9-7 against the Panthers. 2:53 left. Notre Dame has the football and 3 timeouts left. The Panthers have also 3 timeouts remaining. 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Now the burden is on the Panther defense. The last series of downs, Notre Dame opened up with a pass early and then went to the grinding running attack and finally set up the Kearney field goal that gives the Irish the lead at 9-7.
They will go to the grinding running attack again. The only important thing on their mind is waste time. Use the time on the clock. Pitt's going to have to waste their timeouts to get the ball back because Notre Dame's going to be very slow and very methodical.
Using up most of that 25-second play clock. They have 3 timeouts. They don't want to use them. Panthers have 3, and Notre Dame will try to force the Panthers to use those, especially in a defensive situation. 1st and 10, the Irish at their own 27. They go with 2 tight ends. I flanker right. Burline steps in. Panthers bunching up at the line of scrimmage, and here comes the fullback carry by Tom Monahan, and he gets maybe 2 yards to the 29-yard line, and that's all. The Panthers had it sealed off. Walter Johnson was there, and so was Darrell Woods. Panthers called time to stop the clock at 2:47. Notre Dame facing a 2nd down and 8 at their own 29-yard line. So they used up 6 seconds on that play. Panthers called time. They have 2 left. Now Notre Dame en masse comes to the sideline to talk to first-year coach Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz, in his 17 years of collegiate head coaching, with a record of 117, 68, and 5. The Panthers, Mike Gottfried, is in his 9th year overall as collegiate head coach, and his overall mark coming into this contest, 51 wins, 41 losses, and 4 ties. Notre Dame, 1-3 coming into this game. The Panthers, 2-2-1. A 7-point underdog who would be in command of this football game had it not been for a multitude of drop passes.
And the failure on the 1-yard over the top, but on the other hand, Notre Dame did a good job on defense.
Must give credit to a fine defensive effort when you stop somebody shy of the goal line and keep them off that board. Referee William McDonald gives the ready for play signal. Notre Dame coming from the sideline now will go into a huddle and use up some of the 25-second clock. It will not move. The game clock will not move because the timeout stopped it at 2:47. 2nd down 8. Notre Dame at its own 29. Joe Williams lines up as a spread end to the left side. They give us to the fullback, and that is Pernell Taylor, and he is hit after crossing the 30 and getting to the 32-yard line for 3 yards, where it'll be 3rd down and about 5. And again, the clock is stopped at 2:40. Pitt uses up its 2nd timeout, and that will use 7 seconds. The Panthers have 1 timeout remaining. And it'll be 3rd down and 5 for Notre Dame at its own 32. And you would think in this situation, Notre Dame now will not choose to throw the football, which would stop the clock in the event it would not be successful. Or is that the element of surprise?
No element of surprise necessary. All they need to do is move the clock. So they're going to have to run the ball, get up slow, get into a punt formation. And that's the last timeout Pitt will have if they stop it. If they don't, Pitt will get the football with about 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining.
Here at South Bend, it's 9-7 Notre Dame, 2:40 remaining. Connellsville, we appreciate your joining in the broadcast. WCVI there along the Panther Network. Up in Erie, Pennsylvania on WEYZ. A reminder, the Panthers are off next weekend. They have homecoming on the 25th against Navy with a kickoff at 1:30. And the bicentennial celebration for the University of Pittsburgh. Ball at the 32. Notre Dame now, 3rd and 5. Pitt has 1 timeout left, 2:40 remaining. Burline steps in with a single setback. Wants to throw it. Throws it to the near sideline, and it's incomplete. The intended receiver was delivered a whale of a lick after the ball went over his head. That was Tim Brown. Quentin Jones really knocked him around. And now, with the incomplete pass, the clock stops at 2:36, and that gives the Panthers a chance now, with 1 timeout remaining, to have relatively decent field position. But they trail 9-7.
That was a lousy call.
Incomplete pass. Stop the clock. Did the Panthers a favor. Here comes a big rush, and the punt is blocked. It's spinning up in the air, and it will be out of bounds, and Pitt's ball at the 34-yard line, but a marker's down. And they're saying no flag. It is a block punt. I did not see who blocked the punt.
The whole team.
They rushed and got in there And now the Panthers, with 2:29 remaining, have the football inside the Notre Dame 35-yard line at the 30, I believe it's out at the 34-yard line to start this drive. Pitt trailing by 2 points, the Panthers with 1 timeout left.
2 hands on the ball, and they'll move up and try to get the field goal.
34-yard line.
If they do throw, it'll be a possession cut. He'll not throw the interception. He'll ground the ball.
No word from the press box as to which individual gets credit for the block punt, but it was a team effort. There were a lot of white shirts in around Sorensen. Here comes John Kinjemi. 1st and 10 at the Notre Dame 34-yard line after the block punt with 2:29 remaining. He's back. He wants to throw it. Left sideline. The pass is complete and out of bounds to Keith Tinsley at the 20-yard line. And that is a first down, a 14-yard pickup. Tinsley wide open on the play.
Outstanding call. Right to the sideline, stop the clock, wide open. The Notre Dame defensive backs have got to drop into the end zone, and Pitt is well aware of this, so they're going to throw the ball in front. And you notice Mike Gottfried, he has the offense wide open.
Nothing conservative about that call. 2:24. So the Panthers use up 5 seconds, pick up 14 yards. Remember, Pitt has 1 timeout left. They trail 9-7. We have 2:24 left in the game, and there's motion by Billy Osborne toward the wide side. Kinjemi back. Kinjemi looking. Pass over the middle, into and out of the hands of the intended receiver, and that is Chuck Scales at about the 11-yard line. And we have Kinjemi down. Kinjemi hit on the play. Troy Wilson coverage on the play, and Kinjemi trying to shake it off. That's the second hard hit he's had in this quarter. The first one put him out for 1 play, but he's going to try to shake it off, and what a gutsy effort by John Kinjemi. That incomplete pass stops the clock at 2:20. The ball is at the 20-yard line of Notre Dame, where Pitt faces a 2nd down and 10. The Panthers with 1 timeout left.
2nd and 10 at the 20.
Wide side of the field to the right, Pitt moving left to right, 4th quarter. 2 wide outs that way. In the wide slot, Billy Osborne. Motion by Tinsley. Back to the left side, the short side. Kinjemi, draw play to Brown, and he's inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Tom Brown tackled by Wally Klein, but he cracks up ahead of steam, crossing the 15, getting to the 14. The clock winds at 2:08. And it will be now a 6-yard gain and a 3rd down and 4 at the 14.
Notre Dame's defense had fanned. They're opened up because they thought Kinjemi would roll on the pass. Instead, it was a late handoff draw.
It has 1 timeout left. Clock winds to 1:52. Now the Panthers kind of go into a slow motion routine. Facing a 3rd and 4 at the Notre Dame 14-yard line. Kinjemi sending Tinsley in motion to the wide side. The give against it is to Arnhead Hayward. He's belted around, but he falls forward and gets to the 6 to the 11-yard line. But he'll be short of first down territory. And with 1:32, 31-30, it's decision time. And now the clock will be stopped by referee Bill McDonald, who indicates that timeout is called by Notre Dame, who's in a position of having to try to milk the clock and get some time, buy some time to try to get back in this thing in the event that Van Horn puts the Panthers ahead.
They have to. You know what we have here now? We have a quarterback who not only is hurt so that he's having trouble throwing the ball, if we go to kick the ball, he's the man that must hold the ball. So it becomes a catch-22 here. All right, you're going to say that, will the kicker make it? Will the holder hold it? That's what my concern is right now, if they, in fact, have to do it. And I look for them to run the ball to better field position or throw it to the right in order to get into a field goal position.
Jeff Van Horn warming up on the sidelines, and he is 4 for 7 in the field goal department. Today he has missed one of 43 yards on which the snap was not good, and he also had 1 block, which doesn't count against his percentage. And he is warming up, and the ball is at the 11-yard line, so a field goal try would be about 26 or 27 yards.
I lost sight of that. It is the 4th down, so John Kinjemi does have to hold it. It gave him time to shake out the worms and all of the things that are going around in his head because of that last hit.
Pitt has 1 timeout left. Notre Dame has 2. Irish have just stopped the clock with 1:29. The Irish leading 9-7. The Panthers with a 4th and 1.5. The ball at the outside the 11-yard line of Notre Dame. The ball is on the left hash mark as Pitt moves left to right in the 4th quarter. Is this crowd as quiet here as I think it is? Is it my imagination?
It's quiet, and so am I. Could it be nerves?
Field goal team is on for Pitt. Jeff Van Horn, the freshman place kicker from Cheney, Washington, will put his tee at the 18-yard line. A 28-yard field goal attempt out of Kangemi's hold. With a minute 29 left. Van Horn takes his set position. The ball is on the tee. Van Horn kicks it. It's up, and it is good! Jeff Van Horn's 28-yard field goal is on the mark, and the Panthers go ahead of Notre Dame 10-9 with a minute 25 remaining. The freshman from Cheney, Washington, does his job, and that's to put all important points on the scoreboard.
Oh, it's not over, obviously, and great kick, great hold, great everything. But Notre Dame is known for the Fighting Irish. With a minute and 25 on the board, it's going to be the defense of Pitt that has to come through and make the big plays. Notre Dame has never quit in their lives, and they're not going to quit today. Now let's see if the kickoff team for Pitt can get down there and keep them in poor field. The timeouts are a big important thing right now.
Remember, the Panthers must kick it off from the 35-yard line, and Van Horn, because Mark Brasco did not make the trip to South Bend, Van Horn has been also used in the kickoffs today for Pitt. A minute 25 left. Notre Dame trailing 10-9. Notre Dame now, with a minute 25, has 2 timeouts left. Now the burden for the Panthers is on the kickoff coverage team, and they've got to stop the ever-dangerous Tim Brown from breaking one. And he's deployed at his own 3-yard line. Van Horn approaches the football and kicks it. And it's angled to their sideline, where it's going to be taken by Milt Jackson behind the wedge. The 18 to the 20 to the 25. He'll be hit and dropped at the 25-yard line. And the clock did not move. The clock did not move. It still says 1:25. Clock did not move 1 second. And I wonder if the officials on the field are aware of that. Now it's moving. Now it's down and adjusted to 117. Scott Fryer made the tackle for Pitt. No, that was Charlie Swink.
They got to throw it.
I'm sorry, Lee Hetrick. Here comes Berline back. He's going to throw it long, and the pass will be caught by Milt Jackson inside the 50 at the Pitt 45-yard line, where he's knocked out of bounds on the far side of the field by Billy Owens. With 1:11 remaining. What a big play for Notre Dame. 1st and 10 from their own 25, and they're already beyond midfield thanks to a 31-yard pass play to Milt Jackson from Steve Berline. 1st and 10 Notre Dame at the Pitt 45. High formation. Berline, play action fake, dumps a little swing pass out of the backfield to Johnson. Johnson turns it upfield, gets to the 40, still on his feet at 35 to 30, and he's out of bounds at the near side of the field at the 23-yard line with 1:02 remaining. Another big play for the Fighting Irish. Darrell Woods made the saving tackle for Pitt, but Notre Dame is suddenly right back in position to win this football game.
They came up with 2 great plays and took advantage of Pitt defense that wasn't able to stop the short route, and because they didn't, Notre Dame was able to run after the catch and are now in position for an easy field goal.
Johnson picks up 22 yards to the 23-yard line of Pitt. Notre Dame now with a 1st and 10 at the 23. Berline sets him up at an